Bid you hello and welcome to our fair channel. We players are not available at the moment. We are currently setting up stream and adding production value. As proof of this, I, Sep, am talking to you from the past. Yes, this is a recording and I am probably doing something unspeakable at this very moment. But enough chit-chat. I only said all this to give the stream time to actually start and the people a chance to come in. Now, as in the movies, enjoy the pre-movie commercials.
Roll initiative. Yep. Meepo in big trouble. Big doo-doo. But great dragon was Candle. Big doo-doo.
So, would you say this is a big danger, what you're hearing?
I mean, if they fuck me on my tips, I'm bringing them to that town.
Did you say tips or something else?
Tips.
No tips.
Okay, cool.
It depends on the gender of the person I'm guiding.
So,
Fuck
yeah,
you, Mike.
you expose them to the blacksmith, I see.
Alright, so that was Windswept with Wanderer. They got some cool music, and hi, I'm Shump. I do podcast now. Fuck it. Windswept, Lake of Light. Okay, so I think this is cool. I guess you've been waiting long enough. Just gotta figure out what knob to turn, because this is all new to me. That one goes... Oh, yeah, it goes down. It goes down. Cool. Alright, I guess roll the show then. Goodbye.
Shit. Shut
Hello,
down
all.
everything.
Delete my search history.
Yeah, I need one of those bracelets. In case of emergency.
A lot of people say that this one anime, I think it was reincarnated as slime. That protagonist is everyone's dream protagonist. The first thing he says when he dies is, "Delete my search history."
Wouldn't it be better to just have an implant, like a dead man switch, that automatically sends out a signal that completely like purges all of your accounts all across the internet and clears your browsing history and cookies and everything, and just like
Breaks your hard drives, just
yeah,
everything, non-recoverable.
just like a little bit of just like a blasting cap embedded in your hard drive that pops as soon as you die. Have fun
I mean,
recovering
I could
that.
see that happening in the future at some point.
Yeah, the problem is that you'd have to implant those blasting caps into like all the cloud servers that have your information as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That
the
would be a
problem
bit
these days.
Yeah, and that might be considered an act of terrorism. So
I mean, if
Might
you're
be.
dead anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
man dies in hang gliding accident. On another note, all of Google's servers have just weirdly exploded.
Don't get me started on Google.
I don't think it'll work because you need to get to the moon somehow. Nobody's going to inquire about that.
Nope.
Nah.
Glad you all agree then.
I mean, why would we? Why would we question?
It's Google. Wouldn't put it past them.
We already know that there's space Nazis on the dark side of the moon, so
Yeah. The reason they discovered that was while Google were hollowing out the moon to have servers inside. That's when they discovered that.
yep. Sounds about right.
So, what quests are we going to pick up on the way back?
Let's see. Well, we've done. Haven't we finished Tomb of the Lost Wayfarer? Oh, hang on. The whole. I didn't know about this. The whole gathering remains thing. That was never mentioned. Not my character.
Well, I'm fairly sure that the party just kind of took the sword and went like, yeah, sure, whatever. Cool sword.
Which one are you talking about right now?
Tomb of the Lost Wayfarer.
Yeah, but which one of the swords?
Merthuvio.
The one that I keep basically purely just to
Yeah,
whack things with the kitchen.
one of them.
Hey, doesn't Merthurial have the whole thing where you can banish creatures as well? I mean, that's pretty good, especially when you manage to hold it for a minute, so that you can banish fiends, certain undead, depending on which plane they're from.
I mean, it also glows bright fucking blue, so...
I mean, there is that.
I basically
so
got...
We're going to talk about Scalebreaker?
Whatever happened
What?
to that sword?
What's that?
I laugh now if Silic is the one who ended up having Scalebreaker and it's been lost in the great terror of fireplace.
I have it.
Okay.
I seem to recall there was a lot of confusion because it started off with home and then Obsid had to miss a session, so it was with Silic, and just like it was at least in 2 inventories at the same time.
Skillbreaker, the only sword the party has ever carried all at once.
Well, actually that's not true because Navara or Drake didn't carry it.
Yet.
I mean, I'll take it. I'm not complaining.
I do look forward to doing some legend lore on it, though.
Yeah, it would be good to find out more about it because I'm curious about the sword.
Scalebreaker? Would be neat.
Or as
You said the
it's
maximum
alternatively
enchantment
named,
we could have on
Shatterspike.
stuff is free, isn't it? Similar to how Neverwinter Nights 2 crafting system worked.
Excuse me?
The maximum number of enchantments you can have on one weapon is like free, isn't it?
I don't think there's a set rule in 5e, but it would make sense. Anything beyond that starts to go to power levels, which would indicate an artifact,
Yeah.
and they'll start to like develop their own personality.
Yeah. No, the only reason I'm asking is I'm just thinking of some things.
As you are.
Nothing I could do right now. It's just thoughts. I don't have the
Enchant
point for
bow
that.
with Misty Step.
Yeah, that was one of my first.
Which
Well,
that can
actually,
be done.
I suppose it doesn't matter if I spoil it for you now. Navar, I was actually planning on getting Navara to make you an arrow, which allows you to Misty Step to it whenever you fire it.
So you can get closer with your swords.
Yeah.
Hey, you! In the head.
Yeah.
What happens if I use piercing shot with that arrow?
I suppose you'd end up where the arrow ends up.
Hope you're
Stuck in a wall somewhere.
What happened to home? He's fused with that wall and dead.
He learned the stone. He kind of tried to learn the stone shape spell. It didn't go well. Not stone shape. Sorry, meld with stone.
He used improvised meld with stone.
It was not very effective. Home fainted.
Fainted. Home exploded inside a wall.
I was making a Pokemon reference, but okay.
I know.
Ah, okay.
There is no home, only wall.
I was actually going to make glasses for you as well, so that you could see in the dark, because that was a big problem until we got those sun rods.
Night vision goggles.
Right.
But yeah, I actually had a couple of crafty plans for Navarre.
I forgot that I made this cool armor. Alright.
Sorry?
What cool armor?
Don't worry about it.
I mean, I'm curious now. You mentioned cool armor. I mean, I probably won't
Is
be
it
able to
another
wear it.
armor you can't use it?
Probably.
I don't know. Guess you'll find out if you ever find it.
Tell you what I
still
want to
have,
try
like,
and...
one item that I custom made like at the very start of the campaign, and you still haven't found it.
Well, I mean, if you give us a hint of where it is.
I'm gonna go with either Sunless Citadel or Tomb of the Lost Wayfarer.
Or even worse, Forge of Fury, which he never wants us to go back to.
What's that? The dwarves are requesting a raid again?
Technically, I do have a follow-up quest, but you haven't exactly kept in touch with them, so...
I mean, to be fair, they have no real way of tracking us. So.
Perhaps for the best.
Hey, we killed a dragon on their behalf, alright?
2, technically.
Oh, that's a low blow, man. That's a low blow.
Ooh.
Poor
Boo this
Navarro.
man, boo. No, no, they're saying boo-earns.
I mean, there was also the druid who got misplaced in the adventure, so...
I imagine he'll turn up at some
Yeah.
point.
I mean, quippers are pretty good to eat.
You know, I do have this ability to find random food in the wild, so...
It must be weird for the fisherman that like gets him and like starts gutting the fish and then suddenly turns out it into a druid.
Can you imagine that?
Uh,
That poor fisherman, he'd be scarred for life.
Knowing Sarah, he'd just be doing the oh hey.
with a knife in his rib cage.
You know, I realized when I was thinking about it the other day, I've actually got 3 full attunement slots: my mask, the sword, and the shield now because of the fire resistance.
Show off.
Well, I mean, I wanted to do stuff with my prosthetic, but I'm not going to be able to do that now
Hey,
because I've
what
got
you
all
want
3.
to do with your prosthetic is none of our concern.
Okay, I need
I-
to pull up the list of
I have
weapons.
this cool already made prosthetic plan where you can like rotate it at the wrist to make it into a club, or you can like have the fist shoot out magic missiles.
Oh, that would be cool. That's actually pretty cool.
And it's got replaceable and detachable and multi options for the end point.
Yeah, it's
There might be
it's
an oil
modular.
mechanic involved.
Yeah, it's modular, and you just have to use some oil every single day to keep it lubricated, or it's not gonna work.
I see. This
The-
wouldn't happen
the-
to have any reference to Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain, where you had this big rocket missile come firing out of your wrist.
No. Don't know what you're talking about.
Sure. But
There's also the issue that it was no made, so you're not gonna probably ever find it. So
Huh, I only have 2 attunement slots used.
out of
Nice.
curiosity, if I turned off attunement on the shield, would that still allow me the +1 or not? Because it had the +1 before it got the fire resistance.
it's still a +1 shield. You lose
Yeah,
2 fire
okay.
resistance, and yeah.
Thing is, I've already got the fire resistance. So I got the fire resistance from that drink I drank.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
That was
now
like
you
that was a
have
kick in the
more.
pants. I got this fire resistant shield. Oh, cool! Drink this drink. Oh, you now have fire resistance. Oh.
Well,
I had that too.
well, remember what happened when you didn't succeed? Are you
I think I
sure? Are you sure, Chris, that it wasn't you who failed the checks?
It was
In the
definitely
other
not me. I
campaign?
passed
in,
all
in
of
the
them.
other campaign.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So you get weakness to fire, and
Oh.
you suffer a character flaw, which is
Cannot go near any
yeah,
heat source.
even
And-
the flame of a candle feels like it's
And-
burning hot.
And you also get, I think it was disadvantage during the day. Because
Oh,
even
lovely.
the sun caused problems for you.
I don't remember that.
Huh.
No.
It was something to do with bright light.
It didn't incur sunlight sensitivity.
So
But it
basically,
made you like, as a character flaw, you had issues.
basically, big fire breathing dragon would have been a big no-no.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yep. That drink is a very big risk.
I know I had the flaw in
In
Nightstone.
Nightstone.
Yep.
Did you?
Because my character failed it. Yep.
Didn't I also have it?
Seem to
Pretty sure
recall
I
that
had it.
you had, yeah. I think I think Sepp was the only one that drank it and succeeded.
Which was kind of hilarious because
Tornby didn't even drink it.
No.
He tortured the poor bastard selling it, though, with illusionary gnomes.
So yeah, Kool-Aid was basically like a torturer in disguise.
Oh yeah. He,
Yep.
I mean, he made some of the guards start smoking weed just to calm down.
And anytime they saw the gnome, they panicked.
Yep.
No, I'm pretty sure they put that down on just weird fucking hallucinations.
Well, that as well. Depends on the occasion.
I love how in the Nightstone campaign there's still a party member called Bigby's Hand.
Yep.
That's mine.
Big Beast Hand.
Amazing spell. I love it.
Do you like all variations of it?
In this edition, it's only one.
Oh, is it only one? Okay, fair enough.
I think it's only one, and it can do multiple things.
So it can do
Yeah,
all the
it's
things
just
that the
one.
old Big B's stuff could do, but it's all in
Yeah.
one sort of thing. That actually makes it more versatile because you could choose what you want to do with it.
Yeah. Plus, since it's a full 1 minute of existing, you don't have to do the specific actions. You'll let me do other cool stuff with it, like lifting myself up and digging and all kinds of cool stuff.
That's cool. That actually gave me the idea for a prosthetic, but I do want to. What I want to do is kind of get Eldritch Blast on my prosthetic, but with the kind of drag them towards you thing, so I could tank better.
Get over here!
Basically, yeah. I was also thinking, because you know the whole spider climb thing I did on the dragon. I was thinking of getting a cloak of arachnidia, so I could do such shenanigans like that.
Yeah.
Of course, I only have 3 attunement slots, so I gotta be careful. But yeah, I mean, with the shield, it's not so bad. I can unattune from it and have the +1 effect still active, but I just won't be able to. But you know, other than that, my mask is kind of important because I've got the true sight on it. And
You also need a rocket hammer.
A rocket hammer. Oh, I think I heard stories about that one.
I don't think we've ever had someone have that.
In Lee's campaign, he had something similar. It was basically you could only move very short distances with it, but when you hit with it, it was deadly. But most fights were over by the time you got to someone to hit them with. I think it was called Meteor or something.
Sounds cool. I want one of those. Not on Medrash.
How many attunements have you filled up? I imagine only one with the
one.
Yeah.
The Kira.
Yeah, which seems to be will do more harm than good at the moment.
No, it's got some unseen benefits.
Okay.
The only reason it's harming me is because I'm actively trying to sort through the madness. I don't know if that will do anything, because it wasn't something that... It was just the initial, you have to pass the check in order to put it on and attune. But then I kept doing it. So maybe it's expanding on it or something.
Maybe.
I do have a couple magic items, but I don't have anything else that requires attunement.
I'm actually wondering if I should approach Tio about changing my alignment to lawful neutral, since that's what I tend to lean towards anyway, rather than lawful evil.
I hear there's this cool helmet called the Helm of Opposite Alignment.
Oh god, if that's in the game, jeez.
Well, it's in Baldur's Gate 1 at least. The Demon Knight at the bottom of Durlag's tower has one,
Yep, that sounds about right.
which makes me
I
wonder
did like
if
that tower
it's.
except for all the traps, because that meant I had to carry a thief with me if I wanted to defuse them without stepping on them and blowing
A
up.
good thief, too.
Imoen was pretty good. I always carried Imoen with me.
Hmm.
I actually kind of played the canon party, you know, Jahira, her husband, Minsk, Kiz Ward, I can't remember her name, and Imoen.
And which one did you forget the name of?
The Reshaman Witch.
Oh, yeah. Dinah here.
Yeah. Obviously, within the Enhanced Edition, then I started carrying Nira and Rash. No, that's not his name. The Sun Soul Monk
Rashad.
around. Yeah, Rashad.
Sauna beer.
Okay.
So, Tio, the helm of opposite alignment.
What about it? You want one?
Can we stick one on Drake?
I was just saying to
Is
Chris that I think I was going to discuss with you about
Is-
changing my alignment to lawful neutral rather than lawful evil.
That's up to you, man. Just
it-
act the part.
Well, I lean towards neutral rather than evil anyway. But
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I know at least one stable hand who disagrees.
well, you're forgetting about the the wizard as well. Although I think I did the world a favor by making sure there was one less Harple wizard in the world.
Yeah, that's that one. Even the gods will thank you. I'm sure the Azuth has his own assistant who just has to deal with Harpel fuck up.
I could just picture that as well. And after Azuf went pew, all hell broke loose as far as the Harpels are concerned.
Literally.
By the way, have you finished those books?
Which ones?
The ones Devil Brimstone Angels series.
No, I'm still working on the. Oh, what's that trilogy called? It's called The Summoning.
Isn't that the one with when the Neferis came back? If I remember correctly.
Well, not in the first book at least. It's Return of the Archwizards is the trilogy. First one is following a elf crypt guard who hooks up with a arch wizard of shadow magic.
As you
I'm
do.
suspecting he is Netherese because he's been visiting some Netherese stuff, but so far the main plot is about the what are those called again? The
oh shit! I didn't spoil it for you because I heard about that one.
What are the creatures under the Anark Desert called again?
Oh, those. Yes. Yeah, I remember you mentioned those.
Yeah. So far, the main story is about that because they're basically destroying everything around Everesca in and around.
Oh, did you get Spellfire in the end?
Yep, have it here.
Oh, you didn't bother buying it?
Couldn't find it in the store that I went to.
Do you want me to get it for you?
I got it as a audiobook.
Okay.
This is Audible.
Aha.
Audible.
Got a free. Well, you get a free credit every month if you have bought one book.
They keep telling me that I've got a
free
free one, but I don't use it.
If you use it, you can get a new one. So I'm slowly building myself a library of audiobooks in Forgotten Realms.
Okay.
Not that I don't have those pirated already, but you know.
Gasp.
Piracy? On this channel? No,
Never.
never. Never ever.
Well,
Oh,
not before you go to Luskan.
I've already been to Luskan.
Yes, that went very well.
By the way, I found this interesting game on
Is it called Icewind Dale?
no Dungeons and Dragons Rock Paper Wizard.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I added on my wish list because my sister likes to play board games and stuff, and I thought, you know what, I'll bring a nice Dungeons and Dragons theme.
You know, if you want a D&D board game, there is a board game called Wrath of Ashardalon.
But that would be spoilers to you.
Would it?
I also walked past a D&D board game called Maze of the Mad Wizard.
That sounds fun.
I mean, there's a certain Undermountain.
Oh, Undermountain.
Fun place, I hear. Bring your entire family. Oh, could you pull up the world map?
Yep.
So, I'd like to use some kind of marker to show where we have like hints of a quest to go to, because it's easy to forget when you see this entire world map that we actually have quite a bit of them. And taking this route, I thought that was the quickest because there was nothing here that we needed. But apparently Keldel, which I forgot about, has something. So I'd like to see if we're going a long distance for a quest we're doing, but there is another quest on the way that it's possible to do without too much delay. I'd like to see if I can plan those.
Sure. Let me see what I can come up with.
If anything else, just put one of those gold exclamation markers.
Hold on. Let's just see what I can come up with.
Why is it that you can't buy a pre-order Baldur's Gate Switch yet? It's coming out later this year, so I don't know why it's not on the Amazon list.
Well, that's a good question. Now, if we only found someone to answer you.
Yeah, no, it's just more of a pet peeve or anything, because I was looking for Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, and that's not even out yet, and that is coming out later this year, so I don't understand why you can't pre-order it yet.
Because pre-ordering is bad.
Yeah, only bad people pre-order games.
Yes. Don't pre-order.
Why?
Because
We said so.
Hurry up, Torm. Can't
Yeah.
wait forever.
It's supposed to be here like 10 minutes ago. More than that. Might be he's stuck in traffic. Or something to that effect.
Maybe he crashed with a missile.
Mm.
An undetonated one, of course.
Of course, it always has to be undead.
Undetonated.
But undead works too.
An undead missile. What? Suddenly we'll be falling into the world of Resident Evil.
Ha! Yeah, you tend to ignore everything after 4. Well, and I suppose 7 gets included in that mess, but still.
I don't know. Final Fantasy 6, aka Final Fantasy, our icon is a giraffe.
What is a giraffe?
Was it 6? And I don't know why I said Final Fantasy.
I'm trying to think, which games had a giraffe? I don't remember any giraffes in any Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just throw this image in Discord. Am I the only one who sees a giraffe when I look at that 6?
Oh, you're talking about Resident Evil 6, right? Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see a giraffe in there, you're true. Very true.
Let's make a hyper stylized 6.
No, don't do it.
Save. Quest marker.
There we
Blue. Ooh, short sword. This
go. I messed up my damage macro for the minions because it's supposed to be scaling with my proficiency bonus, and I've just inputted a flat damage. So, gotta fix that on all 4 of them. That's a bit big.
Don't worry about it. Let's see. One for Yartar.
One for Tribor, I guess.
How do I make one for well, the outer planes?
Well, you'd have to have a map of the outer planes first. And that's where it gets screwy.
Just put one in the middle of the ocean and tag next to it outer planes.
Let's set one here. Let's see. Where else do we have stuff? Candle as well.
Now it's really starting to show how much we haven't done.
Yep. Slowly but surely.
Isn't there 2 in Yartar?
At least 2.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna stack them.
Just make it slightly bigger than the rest of them. You have X amount of quests here.
Well, technically it is a token, so I always forget how, but I can add like a 2 to the corner, but I'm not gonna do that. What else? Keldel, Tribor, Yartar, Desert
Tumulus
Valley,
Wayfarer. So Baron's Hill.
then up in the crags. Well, technically yes, but do you want quest markers of things where you need to go, like return that as well, or?
Well, I do believe that's why I made this marker.
That's the inn that you stayed at, where
Yes,
Drake killed the.
but it's also conveniently why I. Let's just say I parked. Not on the road, but at the edge of the forest.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I made that marker.
Sure. I can replace that marker with a quest marker. If you'd like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll do. Even though it's a return marker.
Yeah, I can also just draw a circle there. God damn it.
Considering how many dead adventurers we have so far, maybe we should have a marker for them. Tombstones of their death.
Jesus Christ.
Nah.
Back in the very first campaign I ran, I actually took the effort of marking down the entire route taken by the party with like a dotted line.
Oh.
Just drawing onto the Roll20 map.
Shall I do that for this group?
No.
Okay,
Considering
so
how much more you are zigzagging, that would just become a mess.
Not to mention back and forth.
Like...
Are you going to count downtime as well?
Oh, Torm is online. We can almost start.
Yay!
There he is.
And speak of the devil.
What the heck is
I'm
that?
not the devil.
Oh, no, you're a fiend.
Well, I'm sure. What's up?
Oh crap.
Oh,
the cams actually went into place perfectly. We can transition over.
Sweet.
Huzzah.
I mean, of course it does. It is me. That's why it does that.
I think that's roughly the path I've taken.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
I have made changes to the overlay.
Ooh. When it's not Theo streaming, then you're doing improvements.
When
Ooh,
it's
that
not-
is very
when
nice.
It's not me streaming.
That's very well done. Nice.
Yeah, it's amazing what production value can do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the music still doesn't play on the intro, but...
How have you failed at that?
So
Who
considering
made the music?
You need that. Nobody's...
I think it's a good thing that you don't play the music, because considering how much you tortured us last time with the whole Jurassic Park ruin
How
themes.
dare you?
That was not torture.
It was torture. It was torture for my poor ears.
Can I
Oh.
import the playlist into this campaign?
No.
Yes,
No.
please do.
I cannot.
Add a random T-Rex encounter.
When are you visiting?
I mean,
Trump
we are
anytime
quite close
soon?
to the high forest, so what's to say there isn't a T-Rex near the Lost Peaks?
I still want to know how that T-Rex fit the door.
I'm still curious on how the T-Rex even got into that building in the movie, let alone in the campaign.
Magic.
Don't worry
I'm
about
guessing he's I'm guessing all T-Rexes were spellcasters with their small hands. I mean, there's no other use for. So it was just spellcasting. That's
No,
It missed
Oh,
his
God.
stepped inside.
A spell-casting T-Rex, can you imagine?
Alright.
I
Adding that
can.
to my DM notebook.
is that along with the warehouse?
1 sec. I'm just grabbing something to eat.
Let's see. Krang accepts it's a huge statue with an elder brain, giant spider shadow lich, trapdoor mammoth spider, albino red dragon, and
An albino red dragon. What?
spell casting T-Rex. Sweet. Slash
Oh, and animated cactus.
band
Oh, so
There we go. Now I'm fully
animated
here.
cactus. Do you mean a cactor?
casting band of spellcasting velociraptors.
Nah.
Hey, our
Velociraptors are too
nickname,
physical.
their nickname is the Clever Girls.
Yep. They have a better party name than most adventuring parties.
Do we actually have a party name? Actually, come to figure it.
The
Put that
Incapables.
thing backward.
The Incapables, there you go.
Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me.
Liam, I answered you now for your message.
Yes, I saw.
I thought you deserved an answer, so.
Fair enough.
So, did you start yet?
No,
No,
we're
No, we
waiting
waited for you.
Oh,
We're
I do
so excited to
apologize,
have you here.
but the traffic was amazing.
Yeah, I kind of figured that it must have been a traffic issue.
Hmm I mean, she told me it will be like 15 minutes to get back. Then I was stuck behind a cleaning truck. And then I discovered
As you
that
do.
the whole road until the high road was all in complete darkness. And cars in front of me doing the highlights so you can't see a thing. So that was fun.
Nice.
And the one behind me is doing highlights to try and get me to drive faster while I'm not seeing anything. So he's helping.
Yes. Blind the driver.
Yeah, that will help me go faster.
High beams, man. I hate the damn things.
Where we going, you don't need to see the road at all.
Where we're going.
Or
we
anything
don't
within
need
40
roads.
yards of you.
Speaking
Just
of
hope
not
you don't
needing
hit
roads, shall we?
Nice intro.
Thank you. Shall we continue our adventure?
No, I will mention one
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
We were sticking to roads almost all this adventure so far, so
So far. Except
Yeah.
when you went to Yartar.
Yeah.
that's on the
slight-
road.
Yeah, well, we did a bit of
Well,
saved
Oh,
some
that-
time by crossing.
I mean,
It was cross country. I mean,
Yeah,
there
you-
was a road. It was just invisible.
you made your own
Now-
road.
I do believe
On
there
the
are
road
two
again.
of the male adventurers currently talking about a sword.
Yes.
Yeah, we are.
What?
I believe at the end of our last session in Ashardalon, you entered the inn to have
But
a
we're playing
long rest.
Ashardalon?
Yes.
Yes.
I think
Just
so.
kidding, just kidding.
I mean,
So
I
many
hope-
sessions were not there, so.
Yeah, I hope so. That was Ashardalon. Kind of excited.
Hang on,
yeah.
I need to drop out a sec because Chris is doing strange things on my fin again. One sec.
Oh my.
Chris, stop doing strange thing on this thing.
I
And
swear
what the
to
hell
God,
is
if
this
you
thing?
mix up the crams. Nope.
I don't know why, but Chris always seems to lag on my end. I don't know.
Your connection to him is the worst.
I'm an adult.
I mean, for me, normally it's normally it's you, Liam, that is acting up.
Hey, opposite. I'm an adult too.
I'm an adult
So-
too. I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Such adults.
Much adult.
Much adult.
Much adulting.
So Drake is having a closer look at a home sword, giving it a close look.
Oh, I'm
over.
getting up close and personal. I'm examining that from every inch.
Are we talking about a sword?
I really hope so.
Actually, he's talking about two swords.
I'm just wanting to ask, are you naked at the time?
No.
Not yet.
Technically, he's
even.
looking at all three of my swords.
Oh, you have 3.
Well,
Technically,
technically
yes.
2.
No, technically 3.
We're not counting the bow.
The bow is 2 swords.
Well, I'm talking about Scalebreaker and
I
Mefuriel.
don't have Skillbreaker.
True.
I have Merthuviel and Berthan's Tang.
What's next? Are you going to compare swords?
Who has a bigger
So-
sword?
Looking at Mefuriel, Tio, does that
Yes.
one have the symbol that I saw out in the middle?
Out on the plaque of the inn,
In.
Yeah, sorry, in.
it does not.
Okay. Okay, I'll turn to home and be like, "Did you have another blade before you all went?"
Oh,
Bow
actually,
splits.
correction.
Hmm?
It does. It is like. I had to go
It should
check.
have.
It's been so long since I described Merthuviel. Yes, Merthuviel's hilt is topped with a single large pearl set into the pommel, and inside the pearl shimmers the symbol of a pyramid through which is cloven a long sword of some kind.
I look at the sword and then look back at the symbol. This cannot be a coincidence, no. I believe fate has led us here. The gods work mysterious fins.
Where
And
would
I'll-
you be investigating the swords? Would it be in the common room of the inn or in a private room?
Home?
If we went in for a long rest, it would be a private room, most likely.
Mm.
So,
what the hell just happened? That was weird.
Somebody switched the Discord server.
Wasn't me.
As you cross the common room of the inn, heading up to the counter and paying for your rooms and then heading up, you noticed a peculiar decoration piece in the common room, which was a suit of armor with this kind of dull purple light shining from the joints of the armor.
I noticed this. Is that right?
All of you would have noticed this as you passed
Okay.
through.
Did it have the same symbol as it did on the plaque outside and on Tom's Holmes' sword?
Well, not that you noticed as you were passing by.
You said what? Sorry, the armor was what? With what? Sorry?
The armor's joints were shining with this purple light. Or
Well, I
glowing.
mean, I wouldn't have ignored that. I would have gone to it.
Mhm.
I'm a gnome, man.
Of course.
I'm a gnome.
Yeah, purple is your color.
If they
No, it's
borrow
not
us,
about
you know,
the
keep
it's
your
not about the color. It's about the glowy.
Yeah.
So,
RGB
hearing
lighting
you
is the
go,
craze of the day.
I'm thinking neon lights. So I will advance towards the armor, and
Mhm.
I would like to kind of inspect it closer, trying to make out where the light comes from, if I can, and if it seems, I mean, if there are any signs of it being magical without actually casting a spell yet. You know, just kind of, does it seem magical? Not so much if it is magical.
Um,
Because I
You-
don't have detect magic.
you can actually make a history check.
Arcana? History? Okay.
Yeah.
History.
Ooh,
Not my
nice.
best of. Oh, nice.
So, considering the wear and tear on the armor, the way it's been crafted, the symbolism on it, like the decorations and whatnot, as well as this purple, reddish purple glow inside, kind of like keeping the armor joints together instead of being strung up or anything like that. You remember tales of these ancient constructs from the times of long since dead empires such as Netheril. Having these magically animated armors, known these days as helmed horrors, as the vanguard of their forces.
Would I know anything about helmed horrors? Except for knowing that it was during that time. I mean, what would I know about them?
You would know that they are constructs, but very cunning and intelligent ones. More often than not, they are emotionless and ambitionless guardians of certain places, at least in modern times, encountered only when they have been repurposed for some reason, or as guardians of usually temples or ruined ancient structures, that sort of stuff.
Do I know if they can speak?
You haven't heard of any helmed horrors speaking, although they do seem to understand. This armor in front of you seems, considering the tales you've heard of these magnificent warriors, deadly constructs of armor and magic, this one standing there immobile and not doing anything seems very out of place.
I'll kind of look around to see. Can I spot its weapon?
Yes, it has a longsword beside it.
Does the longsword have any engraving onto it or magical properties that I can see? I mean, runes, such things that might indicate something? Again, no detect magic, so.
Yeah. As far as you can tell, it doesn't have any kind of arcane runes on it. It is sheathed, and generally speaking, the runes are going to be on the blade itself. But at least on the hilt or pommel, you don't see anything
I'm guessing my understanding of it would be that if they are guarding, they would be triggered by something.
More
I mean,
than
something
likely, yes.
happening around or something the likes.
More than likely, yes. It depends on what they were instructed to do before their masters finally kicked the bucket.
So, seeing as I'm a gnome and I have in front of me an intrigue,
Oh dear God.
I will kind of look at first at the thing and kind of wave at it to see if there's any response. Nope. Okay.
Nope.
Is there a chair nearby?
Yes.
I will drag a chair in front of it, climb on the chair,
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of try and peek inside the armor.
Sure. You see this
Yeah.
magical purple glow inside. It
Is there a
doesn't
lot
see
of dust inside?
inside. Actually, no.
Yeah. Okay. So purple glow. Continue. Sorry.
Yeah. It doesn't seem to react to you sticking your head like over the top of its chest plate and looking down.
All right. So I will kind of looking at it, kind of looking at the other hand as I do it. Try to draw its sword.
Sure.
Uh-oh.
You draw the sword.
Yep. I would like to inspect it to see if it has any runes or anything that would indicate magic.
All right.
And also, if I could like try and also kind of approximate the weapon if it fits the time of the armor, kind of thing, kind of the time that it was created. Whether it is the same set or is it like a new sword that it got sometime or something like that.
Sure. Make an investigation check.
Sure. $16.
You do notice that there is one arcane rune on the blade itself, which is repeated on both sides of the blade. And as you handle it, you can feel this constant, very gentle pull on the sword back towards the sheath. But it's not like tearing it away from your hands or anything. It seems to just like be almost like a magnet, kind of like wanting to stick to metal. That sort of feel.
Mm-hmm. Could I inspect the rune?
Sure. As far
Arcana?
as the as far as the matching to the armor goes, it seems to be a perfect match, both like age-wise and in the means of decoration.
Mm-hmm. So, what about the rune? Can I know anything about it, or is it strange to me? Alien, sorry. I mean, not strange.
Let's see.
Alien.
Yeah, with that roll, considering that there is an effect of the blade being pulled towards the sheath, you would assume that these runes are probably causing that. They definitely don't seem to have any specific magical effect other than that, as far as your knowledge goes.
Well, now it's time to have some fun. So I will kind of get off the chair with still the sword in my hand, and kind of drag the chair aside so it won't block him, and I will say, "Awaken!" And kind of look at it, waiting for a reaction.
The
Does
armor
it do anything?
the armor just stands there. You do notice that the owner of the inn kind of leans over the counter and just like looks your way and clears his throat and goes,
1 second.
That thing's been standing there for as long as I remember. nobody's managed to wake it up, so might as well leave it alone and put that sword back.
Well, here's the thing. These things have no emotions. So how do you know they don't try to slay us all while we sleep?
Because I've lived here all my life and it hasn't killed anyone.
Are you sure of that?
Pretty sure.
I would like to roll insight.
Sure.
It's my gnome doesn't trust him. That they seem to be telling the truth.
Yeah, he seems to be genuine.
So what is it hiding? Why is it here?
I don't know. It's always been here.
If we awaken it, we could ask it.
Don't think it speaks even if you wake it up, but I don't know. Not an expert on these
Pantomime?
things.
I mean, there's sign language. Maybe it will start playing the guitar. Who knows? So, do you mind if I try?
Knock yourself out. But
I'd rather not knock myself out, but I will try to
Please,
awaken it.
knock yourself out.
Please knock yourself out. That should be the tone. Just please do it.
I, for one, would be pleased that the gnome managed to knock himself out.
Wait, how the hell did you get down from the room?
Hey, Home was that? I was speaking to Home.
Oh.
They're
So...
just suddenly in the private room having a discussion about SR.
So...
So you notice that the
I would like-
barkeep
yeah.
takes an hourglass from behind the counter and places it on top. I'll give you an hour and then you'll put that blade back, okay? And then he turns the hourglass
Alright.
over.
I will just nod, and I will then cast Detect Thought and focus it on the armor.
Okay. Well then.
Is this in the evening or after the long rest?
This would be in the evening before the long rest.
So Madrash is nearby, but he's not interjecting, but he's having a quick snack before.
Mm-hmm.
But he is keeping an interesting eye on this.
All right.
So
let's see.
There are ways I could improve my undead.
for me, it's purely academical for the gnome.
I meant for Medrash.
Let's see.
From Madrash, there wouldn't be much in that, but from a pure magical standpoint, it is Netherese magic, so of course it's interesting. It's the old magic.
Oh, the magic.
So, you cast your spell, SR.
Mm-hmm.
And
I focus it.
You try and focus it.
Mm-hmm.
But as abruptly as you manage to focus on the mind of this construct, the spell fades.
Ooh.
Like if someone countered it?
Like the construct rebuffed your spell.
Anti-magic.
Well,
But your spell is still up, right?
no, it's...
Nope.
He killed the spell. Well, I still have 2 times, but I will try once more only. I'll kind of look at the armor. Fair enough! And I will recast it.
Alright.
And again, I will try the same.
Alright.
I'm guessing you know that's what I'm going to try.
Yeah. You focus again on the armor, and Yep. You can again feel this resistance to your spell, but this time you manage to delve into the mind of this construct.
So what does it think?
The only thought in its mind is protect.
I will ask while he's thinking it. Protect what? And I will focus on the spell to try and get the information if he changes his thought, which he might not do.
Mhm. Alright. You get a flash of a symbol in response to your question. It appears to be a pyramid which has been cloven through with a sword.
Whom do you serve?
The same image flashes in your mind.
Interesting response. What are you protecting?
The same image flashes in your mind.
You are aware that's not for the original. One sec. Are you allowed to harm anyone?
The instruction of protect kind of
Repeat.
shifts as you ask that, and it switches to protect at all cost.
Okay, that answers the question. I will kind of I will drop the spell once I kind of feel that I had enough questions for it,
Sure.
and I will take out. I believe it was a drum. Yes, I have a drum. I'll take out my drum
God.
and not play it loudly, but kind of with my fingers kind of play on it as I'm kind of seeming deep in thought, and mid time that I'm kind of busy kind of drumming silently, I will take the sword and just put it back in place.
Mm-hmm.
As I will kind of turn to where Midrash is and just find a seat close by and just sit and seem deep in thought as I drum on it very lightly.
Adrash is munching on some dried jerky, I'm guessing. So, get anything interesting out of it?
Yeah. Well, there's some good news and some bad news.
Bad news sounds good.
No, the bad news is bad. That's the
Oh,
entire
right.
point of bad news.
Mhm.
If it was good, it wasn't bad, no?
Of course. Yes, I see that now.
And then I will go again silent and drum silently on the drum. Seeming still deep in thought as I am kind of looking into the fireplace or something like that.
Oh, the trick when talking to constructs is shaping your questions a bit better.
I got plenty of answers.
Well, you repeated one of your questions twice
Well,
without clarification.
I was trying to see how its mind is working.
Ah. Yeah, I was figuring I'd have a glance at it. I'm gonna do it in the morning before we leave, during breakfast or something. The magic in those
pyramid
things
with-
can be interesting.
A pyramid with a sword in it. Does it remind you anything?
Yes.
I'll kind of look at you, wait for, like, see if you say anything. If not, I will ask, what is it?
It's a symbol for a group that
Oh,
shouldn't be mentioned in public, nor in semi-private.
it serves it.
I gave Holmes something that might jog its memory then.
Also, when I asked if it is allowed to kill or attack, it answered back with, it must protect at all costs.
Yeah, that sounds very construct-like. Simple instructions.
Yeah, I don't know what it's protecting. I just know that it keeps saying the group, that symbol again and again and again.
That's why I said you should clarify your questions. Your second inquiry should have been about if it's a object, person, location.
Well, I for sure am not sleeping outside my bubble tonight.
I wonder what Drake and Holm were doing up there, though.
Oh, and there was some talk about, I think, a goldfish or something.
Ah. Well,
I never met a goldfish.
yeah. Could you refrain from telling Holm about it until after I've investigated it tomorrow? Wouldn't want to, up and walk out on me before I get to investigate it.
Why would he walk out?
I don't know. But it could mess with my results. If I'll get any at all, but,
Well, with one condition. You tell me what you find out.
Well, yeah, but I'm only going to investigate it from the aspect of understanding the magic behind it. That's old magic. It's made in very particular ways.
I still want to know.
Of course.
And I will kind of nod and say, I won't mention it.
Oh, it's okay to mention it after I've checked it out.
I mean, until then.
Good.
And I'll kind of keep kind of drumming silently to myself as, like, 15 minutes later, I will do a small performance just for the fun for me. I mean, to kind of relax before I head up to bed.
Sure.
Are
Meanwhile-
there actually anyone in the inn currently? Because if not, I won't do the performance.
I mean, there's like a single farmer aside from you guys. Currently,
If there's a single one, I will do the performance. I mean, there's
and
a
of
crowd.
course the owner.
Yeah, so I will take that same chair and do the performance on that chair.
Sure. Meanwhile, upstairs,
Yeah.
Holm and Drake spend plenty of time figuring out the secrets of Holm's sword.
This cannot be a coincidence that the symbol on your sword happens to be the symbol on this.
That means we're heading in the right direction, no doubt.
Yes, but maybe it might be worth asking the proprietor if there's more that they could tell you about your sword and about this. Well, does Drake know about the group? I'm not sure if he does. Mirage?
I don't think it's been mentioned during Drake's time in the party.
No. Okay. It seems that symbol has come up in many places before. What can you tell me about it?
Let's bring up my notes.
You have notes?
No.
It's the end of the world as we know it.
Let's see what I can remember off the top of my head. Huh. I have that. Group was a small military force. Spent a lot of time. I forgot now.
Would you like some help?
Yes,
Would you like
please.
to call a friend?
Phone a friend. Grass.
Make a history
You should
check.
try 50-50 first.
Yeah. Make a history check. Let's see how much you actually remember of the details.
I mean, it sort of makes sense that he's forgotten some because it was during the time when he actually still was drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. 13.
Alright. So, the Wayfarer Order used to be, yes, a military order, which was meant to keep the savage frontier safe. But you also remember that they kind of evolved into more of this secret society sort of deal. Kind of moving in the shadows, doing things that way more often than not.
Not unlike the Zentarim.
I suppose that's a fair comparison, but their objectives were kind of opposed.
Different.
That would definitely be what Drake would kind of, sort of, familiarize himself with.
You also remember that you were given several items by Midrash after he went to some sort of a strange, very cold place to meet a contact of his, Naivaras. One of them including a ring emblazoned with the same symbol.
Which is currently in my little belt pouch. Crotch pocket thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need the name of the contact?
The exact name of the contact?
Yeah.
Let's see. Big white dragon. Had something to do with another campaign.
As soon as he says about the...
I think Crambo would take offense at being labeled a white dragon.
He's not at all a white dragon.
Yeah, wasn't he silver?
Yep.
Yeah.
You saying this out loud to Drake, by the way, that he was a dragon?
Just I don't think he knows about it being a...
I don't... I know all... Do I know Crambo? Did I see Crambo?
I mean, you might have met him as a dragon. Oh no, actually as a person, but not knowing that he's a dragon.
Actually, yeah, you met him in human form when I wasn't there, just after we lost
when
him.
I talked to him as Serum.
Yep.
I did a good
I might actually remember him as the guy that jumped off the wall.
Actually, Drake met him as well, come to think of it.
Did you ever tell us his name, Chris?
I never said that I went to meet him, I believe.
You just said a contact.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't mention that it was a dragon.
That's fine. Drake will kind of arch an eyebrow. Kind of sounds like the Zentarim. I had no idea you were part of this organization.
Neither did I.
Ah, a blood legacy, I suppose.
No idea. But the big elk, deer, stag thing told me I should come look for this shit, and then
Yes, you keep mentioning this stag, Finn. While I am all about the portents of the gods, I have a hard time believing, considering how drunk you were at the time, that this is a real visitation by a god or some kind of celestial being.
I don't know. I was kind of near Silvery Moon at the time, so
Yes, but even with by Silvery Moon standards, that's a little bit odd. Either way, perhaps it is worth investigating with the owner and find out if there's more he could tell you about that symbol. Especially if it is related to your blood. Perhaps your blood is the key.
you know, you keep mentioning my blood. I'm pretty sure you're just turning into a vampire.
As soon as he mentions vampire, Drake's back just kind of goes very stiff, and he looks at him. Do not mention those dreaded creatures in my presence. I do not even think that I am like one of those damned beasts.
Relax, let's go get you a drink.
Will you be partaking?
No.
Then I think I shall keep. After the whole incident back in Yata, I think I will keep keep the drinking to a minimum.
I'll be taking the ring out of my belt pouch and holding it in my hand and just
Do I notice this?
twisting it in my hat. It'll be down at my side as
Okay,
we're
that's
walking down to the bar.
That's fine, yeah. I was wondering if it would be obvious. Nanny?
After all, why shouldn't Holm keep it? It's his own.
What's he got in his pockets? All right, so you you venture downstairs while SR is still performing.
A weirdly like heavy song.
As soon as I hear SR playing, I just kind of look over and then sigh.
Hey, I have good performances. I'm just saying.
Can't you play something a little more?
Okay,
tribal?
that's actually a bad performance.
Madrash will wave both of you over.
I'll walk over and then sit next to Madrash.
You should try the beef jerky. It's really good.
I wouldn't mind her helping. And then I kind of wave down a wait. If there is one. If there isn't, then I'll just go up to the bar. I just had a thought. This is a very quiet bar, so whether or not they have a waitress is a good question.
It's just the one dude. He just kind of looks at you.
A farmer.
Yeah, the farmer is like stumbling out the door, and you try and wave, and the barkeep just kind of looks at you.
Actually, I would like to use my background feature.
Mm-hmm.
Which is?
Hang on, I'm just pasting it in. There we go.
All eyes on you, so the barkeep.
Yep.
And I suppose the farmer, if he's still here.
You just went out the door.
Okay. And I'll ask him. I would be interested in some jerky if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. How much you want? Pound? 2? Maybe 60.
I am feeling rather hungry.
60 pounds it is.
2 pounds.
Oh.
60 pounds is fine, yeah.
Well, he goes and fetches a bag of jerky. and just like smashes it down on a scale and places a 2-pound weight on it. Then kind of just shrugs and takes it off and brings it over to you. Yeah, that'll be a silver.
I see. And yeah, it's only a silver. I'll hand him 1 silver.
Mhm.
I was thinking just in case he it was like a little more higher, but no, 1 silver's fine. I'll take the bag, bring it over to Medrash. You want some extras? I bring it down on top of it.
Yeah, just yeah, don't let Zeradrill have too much of it. He gets an upset stomach.
As soon as Medrash's back is turned, I'll toss Cerebral some.
So, who's up for some dragon chess?
I do not believe I am familiar with this game.
Well, it's like chess with dragons.
I see. The rules are the same.
Yes, if you count the bobsled and the 2-headed dragon.
I see. Perhaps another time. I find myself with actually, and then Drake pulls out the advanced book on primordial language. I was hoping you could help me study some of this.
Oh, another pupil, huh?
If I am going to serve Kosuf, I feel that I must learn his language.
Well, that shouldn't be a problem. I'm a fluent speaker of that. You should hear my aura, and it's
I'm more. What's the fire elemental equivalent? I can't remember.
Ignis.
Ignis. I'm more interested in Ignis than anything else, but I'm more. I am happy to learn the other language or dialects.
It's probably the easiest to go with the overarching, but your vocal cord should be fine with Ignis.
Indeed. I thank you for your aid.
Is there like a large camp? Fireplace.
Yes, there is a fireplace. It is also
Nice.
lit, so
Excellent.
it's
Well-
it's the only thing currently keeping any of the inn warm.
Madras will point at it and like, well, start mimicking that. See, you can, like, soften up your throat, and then we'll get to pronunciation.
Drake kind of looks at him oddly for a moment, and it's just, is this how you learn the primordial language?
Well, I find for myself it's easier to first learn a bit of the spoken bit before you get into the nitty-gritty of typing and writing and shaping words.
I see. Well, I suppose I will take your word for it, and then I'll look at the fire and let's listen to it, trying to follow Medrash's tuition.
Good thing you're not trying to mimic earth elementals.
Ha! That'll be fun. Earthquake anywhere nearby, you know?
Put just a whole bunch of ground stones into a bag, place the bag in your mouth, and gargle.
While I'm what kind of following this exercise, I'll be chewing on a beef jerky, absent-mindedly.
All right.
Does the fire take offense to anything he says?
Well, so far, no. Kind of pops a couple of times, but that seems very normal. Home, what are you doing in the meanwhile?
I'm sat near Midrash, playing with the ring in my hand absently. That's all.
Home. While he's practicing his vocals, how about you and I play some dragon chess, and you practice your draconic by calling out your moves in draconic. Let's see how far you've gotten.
Oh, I can't. I mean, I got this
practicing
cold, you see, and it's just interrupting with my.
A likely story. um,
Just my brain trying to escape, you know?
Oh, I know the feeling.
That sounds like a good plan, Madresh. However, it's been a while since I played Dragon Chess. You're gonna have to teach me the rules.
Oh, don't worry. We'll do them in draconic.
Oh, God.
Folds out this massive chessboard with like 3 different layers to it at different points. 78 different pieces, all doing different things.
This moves 2 steps forward, 3 steps sideways.
So yeah, we have a nice study session before bed.
No. This moves 3 steps forward and 3 steps to the side. This one moves 3 steps to the side and then 3 steps forward. There's a difference.
Yes.
In the background, log popping flames coming from Drake.
Drake just sits there.
After a moment, the innkeeper just like packs up and heads to the back.
He had enough.
Do we hear the telltale sound of a cork being popped?
No, you start hearing the snoring though after a while.
After I finish my performance, by the way, I'm going to bed. After that villager has gone, I'm going to bed. Not after. Before I go to bed, I will pop up my hut.
Sure.
Only sound may be going through, and if I'm residing with someone else in the room, him too.
Cool. Home. Important question.
Yes.
While you are errantly playing with your ring, do you at any point place it on your finger?
Please do. Please do. Please do.
Or are you just teasing the opening?
To warm it up.
It took me a moment to click on what you said there.
Well, worst case scenario, we can have you do a D100 and see if you do a Frodo and it falls on your finger somehow when you follow.
And then Sauron will come. What are you?
I'll put it on one of my fingers and then slip it back off.
Alright.
Wow.
Alright. You put the ring on your finger, and you feel a gentle warmth radiate through you. Kind of like a good, gentle feeling. Kind of reminding you of a time when you were just a baby and, like, your mom hugged you after you had, like, scratched a knee or something. That's kind of like
While
cozy
he was a
feeling.
baby?
And you also hear the slight clatter of armor.
Does everyone else hear this?
Yeah, if you're in
Am
the
I
room.
still there?
We're all in the room.
I don't know what,
I mean,
what stage it
you
is, so
left
I'm just
after
asking.
the farmer and
Performance.
and
Yeah,
the
after the
innkeeper
farmer.
left, so you'd be probably setting up your bubble at the point.
I don't hear anything. I'm busy.
As soon as I hear the sound of armor, I jump to my feet, sword in hand, and look around, seeing where the sound came from.
Whoa there, Drake. Could just be another customer coming in. Wait, sounds like he's already inside.
My head kind of just snaps up as I'm about to push the ring off.
You look around to see where the sound came, and you notice that the armor is now knelt on one knee in place.
I just look at Madrash, like, was that like that when you came in here? Because I'm pretty sure it was...
Maybe you found a penny.
This will be whilst we're playing Dragon Chess, so I'll be sitting kind of like looking at the chest like that, with one hand, like, just playing with the ring. Just so Madrash and Liam can get a idea of how I'm sitting when this happens.
Do I see that the ring's on his finger when this happens?
Roll a perception check.
Alright.
Since it's a fairly minute detail, roll a 12 or better.
Okay.
And then suddenly you roll a crit.
There you go, 15.
50.
Yep.
Home, that ring, where'd you get it from?
Huh? Oh. I just point at Madrash.
I look back to the armor and then look back at the ring. Home. Try and command that armor.
No. I need to do my study first. I was hoping you wouldn't do this until tomorrow when I told you about it.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Told me about what?
Oh, the construct over there has got something to do with the ring.
So the Wayfarers.
Jeez, so much for a secret organization, eh?
He has already told
he
me
knows.
about it.
We're still in a public inn.
Drake,
I just look around the inn, like...
Drake sheaths his sword and then looks at the armor curiously.
Well, he's got a point, though. It's a construct, so it's already shown some sort of effect. Have fun. Try not to ruin my results too much.
Drake turns to Home. Try and command it to stand.
I just look at the construct. With the ring sort of halfway off my finger still. Rise.
The armor stands up and assumes its previous position. Exactly its previous position.
Ooh. I would stand on one leg and jump and bark like a dog.
Drake just looks over at Medrash. You want to tell a construct to try and bark like a dog. Does it even have vocal cords of some kind?
What he said.
Magic doesn't need vocal cords. I can give me 11 minutes and I'll have that coin over there say your name.
Yes, I know the mysteries of magic are wonderful and whatnot, but I do believe that a construct would not suddenly start barking like a dog.
Hop
Unless
on
it's
one
been
leg
gen-
and bark like a dog.
The Helmed Horror turns to or turns its helmet to look directly at you, Home, and just stands there.
Tell it to draw its sword.
It's good that they don't know it's intelligent.
Hold out your right hand.
The construct looks at you for a moment, and then lifts its right arm, pointing towards towards the fireplace.
Drake looks back at the fireplace, and then looks back at the construct. Is it pointed at something specific, or is it just because you told it to hold out its right hand?
It then lowers its arm.
Well,
Oh, I know what it said. Oh, that's beautiful, Theo.
it would seem the assumption is correct. You should probably see what you can learn from it.
Do I recognize the type of construct it is?
Make a history or arcana check.
Both are going to be bad, so let's just try one of them and hope for the best.
Yeah, I'll do the same just to see just how much I know about them.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad, actually, considering my intelligence rolls.
Nope.
I know vaguely about the same as Torm's character.
Yes, Midrash, you would know just about the same. You would know more details about the whole lore behind the Netherese creating these specifically, and mostly because of the arcane studies you've done, and it kind of keeps popping up as this lost art of making constructs. Drake, even though you don't know much about this type of construct, you can definitely tell that it is highly magical, and considering the age of the armor and everything like that, you would definitely come to the conclusion that these are probably constructs made purely for war and combat.
Okay. I'll turn to Home. This construct could be of an asset to you. Perhaps it might be worth investigating to see if you could purchase this armor. Or take it. The choice is yours. Drake will say with a kind of like a little smirk on his face.
Well, I do suggest investigating it, as it is in line with the reason we are here in this town to begin with.
Yep.
It could be a valuable servant to you.
But I've got you.
Drake just shoots him a look that says, really? Do you really want to go down that road?
Well, technically, according to the contract, I believe I'm the owner, you're a co-owner.
I do believe the contract expired when we left Kundrakar.
Yes, but that's,
No, you're just arguing semantics.
Actually, I was the one writing the contract. The only one that actually knows what's written in it is me.
Yeah, that's accurate.
I mean, if you write it in Gnomish, I could read it.
Yeah, but I never actually gave you the contract to see. I just made him sign it, and then that's it. I mean, no one actually saw the contract except for me.
But I would seriously give some thought to this, Home. Constructs are always valuable servants. And out of character, trust me, I know.
Well,
Well,
Not all
it's
constructs
not
are-
necessary that he is able to command it as fully as he wants to.
Hashtag not all constructs.
Out of character, not all constructs are useful.
From my
Tangent.
experience, they tend to be quite.
Case in point, the one in Tribor.
Which construct's that? I can't remember that one.
The
Hey,
Smith-
he's very efficient at making horseshoes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that one. Okay. I kind of thought he was kind of like what happened in Neverwinter Nights 2 Mask of the Betrayer with that one guy who put his soul in a construct for some daft reason.
You mean Warforged?
He basically recreated the four for Warforged, yeah, makes sense.
You're not far off.
But it's already fairly late. How about you deal with it in the morning once you've slept on?
Indeed. Do we head off to
Sounds like a
to
plan.
these stones tomorrow?
Assuming the armor doesn't change anything. It might even want to join.
Yep, tomorrow we head to the stones after we found out more about why this armor's here.
Indeed.
In an inn.
It does seem a rather odd location, to be fair, Drake says, while putting his prosthetic up to his chin to stroke it, and then realizing he can't. Ugh, I need to do something about this. He says, holding his hand out.
Oh, you
Please
want
let
me
me
to add
do it.
fingers to it?
Please let me do it.
No, I think
would
it's
like
going
to
to
do it.
require more research than I can possibly afford, right?
I can do it. I can do it. I have a million ideas of how to make it better for me.
For you, yeah. Draco says, regardless, you make a point. It is getting late, and we need to rest. Especially if it is going to take, how long, 2 more days of travel, I believe you said, Madrash.
Well, 1 or 2 days, depending on how rough the terrain is.
And the weather.
But have no fear, we have home. Best guide in the north.
Have no fear.
Was that
here.
when he was drunk or after?
That was before I got sober.
I'll remember that.
If
With
anything,
that-
I should be better now.
You would think, wouldn't you? And with that, Drake will end upstairs, taking the book with him.
You notice in your peripheral vision as, like in the top right of your peripheral vision, a message pops up. Drake will remember that.
Oh, Telltale. It was sad what happened to you.
So you eventually head to bed after finishing your dragon chess match.
I'll see if I can coax Holm to go up before I go up. Say some kind of lame excuse that I have to pack down the dragon chess set and stuff like that.
Yeah, home will head to bed straight after the dragon chess match. So. By
Dang it.
bed, I mean literally just like find the nearest chair and sleep on it.
He rented a room for you and everything.
Yeah, I go to the room and sleep on the chair, not the bed.
Ah. Well,
Zergo's on the bed.
of course he is. I'll see what I can coax out of the statue in about an hour then before I go.
Okay.
From a magic study standpoint.
Sure.
I'll I haven't used any spell slots, so I've got a full range of identify and detect magic.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Do you notice that when you start identifying the Helmed Horror, using your spells and making sure to study in depth, it seems to resist your magic. It isn't completely immune. Your spells take effect, and you gain insight into the construction and manner of spells involved, and like the connection to the weave that's present inside the armor. But you can feel the natural resistance as soon as you cast your spell. In mechanical terms, it has magic resistance.
Yeah, I was about to ask if it was a conscious resistance or if it was a like mechanical, as it was designed to constantly.
Yeah, it's designed. You also get the sense that it may be immune completely to certain spells, although it would take a long time of study in order for you to identify which spells it can completely block.
Yeah. For now, though, the interest is from a scholarly into the Netheril magic style,
Sure.
not so much specifically about construct creation.
Yeah, sure. So, although most of the magic involved in creating this Helmed Horror seems to have been fairly similar to yours, although the level of power involved in casting said magic may have differed from effect to effect. There is also this little spark of this ancient this ancient magic which runs through the armor itself and the enchantment on it. Probably that being the reason why Helmed Horrors are considered more intelligent than most other constructs. And that would be the magic which no longer can be cast, lingering on inside this construct.
And that is the wet dream of any wizard.
Mm.
Well, he's going to have a blast of a time being a scholarly. It's been a while since he's been able to do.
Yeah.
And once he's got his notes down and feels satisfied and also won't incur exhaustion, he's gonna head to bed.
Sure.
Actually, there's one last thing he'd check.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of the magic in it should be very old, but it's been repurposed by someone.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible to find out to how great of an extent?
Sure. Make a second Arcana check. Okay. Yeah, the spells involved in changing the construct's mandate, as it were, they're definitely powerful. Probably, I mean, you know that there are things such as books of golems and stuff like that, which specify the absolute necessary things to create constructs. And you would assume that it is that kind of a long-term process which needs to be done. Very complicated and probably like mandating several mages to work on it at a time to keep a hostile construct in place and like fiddle around with the magic. So it is an extensive rewrite, as it were.
Yeah. Okay.
Then you head to bed.
Off to bed.
Cool. The following morning, you all wake up,
We wake up.
having enjoyed your long rest, and you wake to the smell of fresh food being brought into the common hall downstairs.
Before I head down, I will cast the one spell I cast every day, Tiny Servant,
Mm-hmm.
and then I will head out.
Yep.
I mean downstairs. Well, I will head downstairs and see what's cooking. And I mean, I will check what's cooking. I'm not going to ask what's cooking.
Yeah, the food being
Actually,
brought out.
would I notice the moved armor?
It's exactly in the same place as it
Oh,
were.
it's exactly in the same
Yeah.
spot.
It took a knee
So-
and then pointed at the fireplace, sure, but it like returned to exactly
the exact
same
same
position.
location.
Yeah.
What's cooking?
The innkeeper is bringing out bread rolls, freshly baked bread rolls, as well as some cuts of meat, clearly roasted, as well as some like mashed potatoes and cooked eggs,
Potato.
and as well as some freshly baked beans. All of them
So-
displayed on the counter with plates on one side with cutlery as well. So it's a breakfast buffet, basically.
How much for breakfast?
It's included in the price.
Oh.
Help yourself.
Thank you. And I will help myself. And then find a table, and I mean, are there a lot of people at the moment in the inn?
Only a few. It seems like
So,
some of the farmers have gathered just to enjoy breakfast.
so you will see kind of SR walking between the tables, kind of looking around until he finds the biggest table that is not occupied and sit
Mhm.
beside at the head of the table.
All right.
You will shortly be joined by Medrash.
And home.
You all notice as you get to the end of the buffet that there are cups as well, kind of stacked one atop the other. And then there's this fairly sizable black jug at the end of the counter with this little flip-up thing on this nozzle. And some of the farmers are going there, flipping this thing up, and there's this black hot beverage being poured into their cups.
As Drake comes down and says he'll see this, and then curious, he'll walk over and take a whiff of it.
As
Does
soon
he
as you
remem-
as soon as you take a whiff, the innkeeper just shouts from the back, "No, we don't have any tea."
Tea? Why would I drink tea? That's weak. Is this what I think it is? I say, oh,
Depends on what you think it is.
coffee from the finest fields of Chult.
Well, it's coffee.
Drake will pour himself a cup, and then bring some food over, and then throw some to Medvash home and himself, and then sit.
Midrash will. Is the weather outside nippy enough that it's actually kind of chilly since it's been nighttime?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The weather outside is not quite frightful.
So once Midrash has had his bite, he's going to spend some time by the fireplace holding the coffee.
Mhm.
And discreetly perceiving it. Looking for anything hidden, markings, anything like that.
Sure. Make your perception check.
Oof.
No, you don't notice any strange markings on the fireplace. You do take notice that one of the farmers entering and just coming to grab a cup of coffee before joining his friends at another table pours a dash of milk into his coffee, and all the other farmers, yeah, as soon as he sits down, all the other farmers start ribbing on him.
Milk? Oh, that's just wrong on so many levels.
Drake will approach Medrash. Indeed. And this is no Chulton field coffee either. Yeah.
Children, what?
Homo will just be sitting at the table, takes a sip, walks up next to Midrash and Drake and goes, "This is some really good dirt water."
Dirt water?
Dirt water is a fine comparison, I believe, for this drivel.
What is dirt water?
Water and dirt.
Why would anyone drink that? That sounds silly.
Depends. Sometimes it's quite good. But it depends on the dirt.
You see the innkeeper taking a cup for himself, and taking a dash of sugar, placing it in, and just like leaving the spoon standing in the middle of the cup while he goes and checks on something in the back room.
Drake just shakes his head. That's just wrong. Are we sure he's not an enemy of Kasuf?
Well, why don't we ask? I'm gonna kind of squat down a bit, so I'm face to face with the fireplace.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the fire in the fireplace, rather.
Sure.
I look down at Medrash. What are you doing?
In Primordial, I'll say, "Show me your secrets."
How much of that do I understand?
Probably nothing. He didn't teach you anything yet.
Fire opens its trench coat.
We got these fine fire whips here, and here's a fire poker right there.
A watch that looks exactly like a fire.
Yeah, Harold the pocket watch. Hey, are you going to Longsaddle?
Unfortunately, that has been left behind by a very inconsiderate player.
By two very inconsiderate adventurers. The fire doesn't respond, and nothing happens in the fireplace.
I'll stand back up and look at Drake. No, nowhere to see it towards Coslet here.
No what?
No heresy towards Kosseth.
I see. Drake will just shrug.
Sorry.
And then I look to Home. Home, are you going to speak to the proprietor about acquiring that? And I point to the armor.
What? Why do you want to acquire the armor?
You're muted, Home.
It looks cool. Does some pretty cool stuff.
What's cool about the armor?
It's metal. It's usually cold.
I will look at Midrash and kind of try to understand if they know yet.
Oh crap! Yeah, he accidentally found out. Ruined everything.
So, can we drag it after us? I want to
I do
know
not
how it
believe-
works.
I
think
do not-
maybe
do-
we could get it to the gnomes. They could probably rebuild it in some way.
I do not believe that will be necessary. Home.
Are you sure you don't want the gnomes to rebuild it? I think that we could add to it some weaponry. I was thinking of this concept of thinking that things that launch away from it.
Iron Man!
I'm thinking of calling it a wood launcher.
Well,
Whatever you do, Home, do not let the gnome near it.
and also remember what I said about being a bit secretive.
I'll just nod at Midrash. Look at the gnome and be like, no. Just no.
Why not? We could make it better. There's only a 50-50 chance that it will explode afterwards. That's good odds.
As he's starting to say that, I just walk away towards the innkeeper.
As the gnome would say, 50% of the time it works 100% of the time.
I think I will
Exactly.
help Home if he needs a little backup in the haggling department, and Drake will follow.
Oh, do you need my help? I'm very good at haggling.
I don't want to.
I
I don't want
happen
to raise the price.
I know the art of haggling in Gnomish. I
Yeah.
have here the contract about it. If you could
Yeah.
just sign it, we could start haggling.
Well, the owner isn't gnomish, so it's not going to be applicable.
Well, if he signs it, it is applicable.
Wouldn't that make it invalid since it's for gnomes?
Oh no, it never specifies that. I actually read it.
Oh, you found a loophole, huh?
Yeah,
How
if
gnomish
anyone
would be.
signs it, he's obliged to it.
As Holmes said, how gnomish of you.
So, I'm going up to the innkeeper with home.
Drake will be there just watching him.
The innkeeper is slowly stirring his coffee.
I'll remain by the fire.
How long have you had that suit of armor?
Oh, it's been here forever. The bloody inn was built around it. By my
You built the
grandpappy.
inn
You
around
mean
it?
it's been standing here and you just decided to build an inn around it?
Not me. Grandpappy built this
Like-
place.
The inn was built around the armor.
I mean, we did lift it at one point, I guess. It's not like I was born back then.
You weren't born when you were grandfather?
Drake just slaps his hand against his face.
I was born when my grandfather was alive.
Some of us do not share gnomish lifespan, gnome.
Oh right, you live very shortly. Very abrupt.
Are there any records or anything from what was around here other than the armor before the inn was built?
Mostly farms. I mean, this whole town here came like a meeting place for farmers around the area. Kind of still is.
Were the armors harvesting the farms?
No.
Okay, just making sure. Were there more armors like that lying around?
No, as far as I know, no.
Well, doesn't it bother you that it's just standing there?
Yeah, not really. It's an attraction. Brings people here from as far as Golden Fields.
I could get rid of it for you.
Why would I want to get rid of it?
I mean, people are just are weirdos and coming here for no reason.
Hey,
Yes,
they
they're
pay
coming
me,
here.
so
Wait, you want them to come here?
I kind of whisper. I kind of lean over to Home. I think you'd better stop him fast. I whispered into Holmes.
We're not taking the armor.
Oh, you don't? I thought... Wait, what?
At least not for now.
I mean, you can have it
Oh,
if you can replace it with something.
Oh, I have something.
A replacement armor would be nice. As long
I
as
have
it's
a
got
dagger.
that, as long as it's got that glow inside too. That'd be cool.
Well,
Drake just looks to Home.
Actually, I could do that. I just need an armor set. That's all I need.
Too bad we don't have that spare armor set lying around.
Why are you so
How about-
interested in the armor anyway? You're the second folk that have asked me about that now, within the past month.
What's the first
Second,
one?
Who was the first who asked about this?
Hey, don't copy my question. Get your own.
There was this woman, works near to the high forest, I think. Trains some of the farmers to defend themselves against the orcs and whatnot that come out of the forest. Yeah, she came by. Was heading up into the hills and wanted some rations.
Which hills?
To the north.
Ah,
Over to old Ossington, I think.
What do you look like?
Oh, about yay high, brown hair. Kind of frail.
what was her name?
Hold on. I need to check. Let's see.
Should know her name.
Helena.
Oh,
I know.
man.
Quelena.
Quelena.
Well, it said
She-
kind of frail, so
Yeah, she's frail, but she still manages to carry a plate armor just fine. She's Tolly.
Tolly what?
Farine.
Huh. Never heard of her. Then I will look at home. Well, I guess it's a dead end.
Is
hills
that
to the
name?
north.
If it was a gnome, I could tell you its grandfather and grandfather and stuff like that. But that's a very short name. I don't know how you fit with that.
Well, see, most species other than gnome use a first name given to the child, and then a family name.
Yes,
SR.
we have that too. Or just we have a
Several
name,
family
yeah.
names.
Well, it's not so much as that. There's there's an obligation to previous generations to kind of really
You can tell us
know
later on the road.
I feel like I'm suppressed here. It's really crude.
And then Drake says, "Home, what are you going to do?"
I will actually go to Midrash at this point, after saying that I feel suppressed. And once they are
I
done,
think
let me
we'll
know.
leave the armor here. We can't replace the armor for him, so unless you're gonna walk around naked, which I don't think's happening, and you'd have to leave your arm, and that would just be awkward for everyone.
Drake just gives him an arched eyebrow. Something tells me you'd like that, wouldn't you?
Yes, because I've always wanted a naked paladin following me around with one arm.
One hand, I would like to point out. I still have my arm. Thank you very much.
For now.
Was that a threat?
Drake just kind
For
of arches an
now.
eyebrow. So probably. Is that supposed to mean something?
Hey, if you will stick your hand where it shouldn't belong.
I would like to point out that I didn't stick my hand where it didn't belong. My hand got misplaced after a dragon fell on top of it. You would lose a hand too after that.
Midrash
Really
whistling
follow
in the
your
background.
extremities. You should really follow your extremities when you stick it in a trap.
Although, come to think of it, I don't know what happened to the hand after Medrash chopped it off.
Well, time to go.
Home just looks at Midrash, having lived with him in Coneyberry for so long. And all those accidents with the woodcutters and everything.
I mean, let's just say there was no waste after it.
And they definitely needed all that cauterization and dismemberment.
Yep.
Totally.
So Midrash,
What?
what did you discover?
Oh. By what?
About the armor.
Oh, from what angle?
Your angle.
Oh, magical studies angle? Well, you
Yes.
brings out a hefty, bunch of papers and starts mentioning
actually
all
listen.
kinds of random Arcanist trivia, basically.
Wait, you're not telling me about the armor? Or
I
you
am,
are? Oh,
but
okay.
the magic that sustains the armor specifically, and how that particular strand was intersecting that part of the weave somehow, but it's not been used since that technique invented by that guy.
So
the
being a
56th
bard,
the 56th Sig rune to the power of 7, connecting to the weave in this specific spot in the middle of Netheril.
considering I'm a bard and using arcane magic, how much would I understand?
This is all arcane theory. It's different
Yeah.
from how bards weave their
I know.
magic.
That's why I'm asking.
You can pick up on certain concepts, like the core concepts of what Midrash is talking about. But once he goes into the nitty gritty and starts talking about how the weave is reverberating in a specific manner at a frequency of the such and such, it's just.
He's got diagrams and pictures too, and he's showing you actively.
Well, I mean, as far as my character is concerned, it's intriguing, and he will listen and kind of try and wrap his mind around the. And he probably was thinking at the same time how he will tell this to the gnomes to try and replicate this. At some point.
If he lives that long.
If we cause a big enough explosion, I'm sure the weave can reverberate at this exact frequency that Midrash said.
I mean, according to his theory, that's what he told me. Just try it. I mean, what could go wrong?
50 years from now, there's just this mushroom cloud rising in the horizon.
And we have a second on Orc Desert.
And you can hear just before the explosion a oops.
Oops, too much magical TNT.
I have become Death, the Destroyer of Worlds. Anything else you wish to accomplish in this tavern?
How long does Midrash need to explain it to?
I finish up with the innkeeper, grab some jerky for the road.
Drake looks at him. You don't need that. You realize I still have at least 50 to 55 pounds of jerky.
Wait, you bought the 60 pounds?
Of course.
So, Midrash, after going through the notes, I would assume starts going into the theories he's managed to come up with during his sleep. So, there's no stopping him. He's just gonna keep going until he comes to a logical stop and then moves to the next theory he has.
I will not cut it off.
I can hear
mean,
Midrash
Yeah.
in the background talking to you as we're about to
Yes,
leave.
so.
And I just, rather than just going to leave, I just grab Midrash by the shoulders and guide him out the door.
Wait,
As he's still talking to you.
My papers.
Drake will
So
just
wait,
gather up
what
the
about
papers
that
in his one
56?
hand and then follow him.
What about that 56th verse part? What?
You see, not only has he taken the papers he's made notes of, he's also started using like cutlery to make indicators and kind of like imagine this being that.
And by the way, as far as Midrash will see, you will see SR looking in wonderment as he hasn't yet considered magic to be that complex. I mean, all he has been using it is using words and stuff like that. So he kind of looks at you like, whoa, there's much more to it than that.
Okay, we can talk more on the cart. I'll go into. We have to go back to the basics about the fundamentals about somatic components, specifically the AUG.
So, one second. Would Midrash actually have the books about
Books about
magic, the construction of magic and stuff?
the basic fundamentals of magic. No,
Mhm.
that's first year stuff.
Alright, so
He's
I
already
will,
way past that.
yeah, so I will actually want to learn about it.
Sure.
The gnome and all.
Yep.
And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I will live for like 300 years, so I don't mind waiting a few hours to learn something.
I have a feeling someone's going to be taking some levels in Wizard.
Maybe.
So we'll spend the
Oh,
majority of the trip there discussing how bards and wizards somehow apply the same somatic components but different
Mhm.
You will
So-
see SR just his eyes are bulging as he hears that. Just kind of, wait, we're using the same magic?
Well, yeah, all the magic comes from the weave.
So, if I could take the weave, could I like play on it?
Oh, you are technically playing on it by doing that.
Meanwhile,
so we go on.
meanwhile, the guard drakes are being hitched on, and
You'll just see both of us climbing on top before they are hitched on, just sitting there talking while you are working to put them together.
the guard starts rolling along. Well,
By the way, where were the skeletons while we were in the...
They would have been in the room.
as normal.
I'm just imagining them four kind of standing at each edge of your bed. Just...
So, as we sit down and the guard rakes are ready to go, and Madrasha stops and like, I think I forgot something.
No,
Great.
I
Oh,
mean,
right, I'll be right back.
Drake hands Midrash's papers. These, perhaps.
No, my guys are upstairs. I forgot them. They're still in the room.
And Drake just looks at him. I think before you go, you can take these back.
What? Oh, papers. Right, yes.
Stuffing the papers into his backpack while running back into the inn.
Drake just kind of shakes his head and says, "Not another one," under his breath, and then jumps onto Brute.
Don't you control them mentally?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Remember his
Uh.
telepathic bond you need to...
Oh man.
Well, they do understand common.
Great. So, after fetching your skeleton crew, you start heading off. Let's take a short break here. Seems
All right.
like a good
It's
spot.
about time I made food anyway. Be right back.
How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you?
Galil. Also, accuracy of Galil is just awful. You're not shooting a Galil to be accurate. You're shooting a Galil to hit something.
Spray and pray.
No, actually, here in Israel, it's not allowed to actually put on automatic the weapon.
Suppressing fire.
Dink,
Yeah,
dink, dink, dink.
you may only
dink.
put it on semi-automatic. That's the maximum that they allow, and that's only in combat situation. If not, it needs to be on manual. 1 second, just need something to drink before I die.
That mini Galil is cute.
Sorry?
It's adorable.
It's really cute.
OBS, I can't believe you've done this.
What?
All the cameras are like out of place. Or the capture is out of place, so I had to recrop them. Why have you done this, OBS? Well, there we go. Fixed. Now if it switches back to the previous crop, I am going to throw a hissy fit.
Adhesive.
It will not
So-
be pretty.
Let's just discuss how the mini Galil is basically, hey, let's take this thing with a nice long barrel, and then we'll just go smoosh.
Yeah. They tried to make a bullpup version of the Finnish assault rifle as well. It didn't work.
What's the Finnish one?
Well, the modern one is the RK95.
The RK62?
That's the older one. The RK95 TP is the modern one.
Sakko.
Don't know why you extend the K so much, but yes. No, I know exactly why you extend the K. Goddamn Norway.
Yep. Though, that's only when. That's when I would like imagine saying it in Finnish. If I were to read this in Norwegian, I would say read it as Sako.
Yeah, it's Sako.
I could probably get this in Norway, actually. Though it would
I'd be
take me
surprised.
3 years. I'd have to attend 3 years of dynamic at very high level of competition before I would be allowed to buy it, but I could get.
I asked, when I was still in Norway, I asked, well, the neighbor who was in the... What was he doing? He was not pararescue. He was like, yeah, in the rescue service in the military as well. And, well, my then fiance's father, who is in the Navy, and I asked them if there is any place where I might train, since it's been a while since I shot like a service rifle. Both of them just looked at me and went, nope. Absolutely not. Cool. I assume some different standards apply when it's a foreign national as well.
Well, that too. But unless you're actively currently military or have been and are in the reserves, there's no chance.
Yeah. The Finnish
Not even
reserve-
I.
the
even
Finnish
with all
reserve
my
probably
weapons.
doesn't apply.
Well, that might also be an issue, but not. It's not the initial problem.
Yeah. No, we'll gladly take the Finnish rapid deployment force for training exercises every single year, or actually like almost twice a year, but fuck you if you're in the reserve. Anywho, back to D&D.
I'm back.
Welcome.
So you head out of Beliard fairly early in the morning. Home.
Yes.
You're behind the reins.
Mm-hmm.
The road leads straight to the east through this valley between the northern hills and the southern. At which point would you turn into the hills if you're heading for your map marker?
Let me zoom in. So roughly we are here somewhere.
Yep.
I'll probably go like a mile or two and then just sort of try and curve my way up around between the hills.
Sure. Alright.
Just looking at the way the lay of the land is on here. Guessing that the center point of these are the tops of hills and the rest is between.
Well, it's not quite so specific, but yes.
Roughly.
Roughly. Very roughly. Front. There you go. Okay. Make a survival check.
Oh, jeez.
Do I still have inspiration?
I don't know.
It's good that
Apparently,
I'm not
yes.
helping.
Well, if you do, then would you like to use it?
Yes.
Alright. Then re-roll.
Yay, we're not running off a cliff.
I'll take
Not
an
much
8
better.
over a 3.
Alright.
I don't know,
That
like
way.
a direct fail over a
So you follow the road for a few miles and then spot a little path, or what seems to be a path, heading up towards the hills in the north. And you follow it along to a little farmstead and cross around it, following along further north, since the path kind of like moves back towards the west to the farmstead itself, and you go off the path on your journey to the north. Let's see. A few miles after the farmstead, you've been making pretty good headway into the journey towards where your marker is on the map, and you see these figures in the distance, standing or walking rather atop some of these hills. And as you get further and further along, avoiding a majority of the most rough terrain, you see that there are more and more of these figures, and the closer you get, you notice that they are translucent.
Does
Good
only
rash.
home-
Yep.
Wait, what about that 110th thing?
One moment. Any directions? What?
I'll just like Right. Any idea what those are?
Can I roll
Well,
perception?
Point to the figures.
Sure.
I'm guessing a perception as well.
I'll also do it.
Sure. Everybody's so perceptive. Alright.
I'm not bad.
Alright. SR and Drake. You can see them like clearly the terrain behind them visible through these figures. These have to be spirits or ghosts of some kind. You had heard at some point that there are, or there have been sightings of ghosts or spirits which have started popping up around these hills in the Desireen Valley. But as far as you know, they have at no point done any harm to anyone.
Well, I heard rumors that there were spirits roaming around, and you can never be too careful around spirits.
Maybe we could take one with us.
Drake just ignores us. We should tread carefully if we just plan to move forward.
I was thinking of
Do
the
not.
sparks that we could contain them within.
We do not have a cleric to banish them if they decide to get frisky.
Who are you gonna
Why do you
call?
want
my
to banish
powers
them?
are-
They look nice.
And my powers will not extend to banish them myself. Only to a certain extent.
You know, you're really not friendly to things on the road.
I do not trust undead as far as I can throw them.
I
No
wouldn't
offense,
throw an
my friend.
undead. It's a bit weird to throw them. Why would you throw an undead? Is that some kind of contest where you come from?
Well, I can't really see quite well what it is, but
It's
there's a
ghosts.
chance that it might not actually be classified as the same undead. It could be a different sort, different category.
Trust me,
You
the
wonder
place
what
I
they're
was
doing
at,
around here.
all undead were vicious.
Where you were. We weren't there.
Yes, and perhaps you should heed my warning that all undead should be approached with caution.
I look at the skeletons of Midrasha's skeletons. So, you're careful about them.
Even more so.
Do you know about them though?
Yeah, I was there when you were putting the spells on them.
No, SR.
Oh,
Well, actually, you told me. At some point. I don't remember why, but there was at some point.
Yeah, probably.
It was at the
Hey.
inn where the stable boy was murdered.
Hey, Stig. Blink if you're dangerous.
Drake
See, no
just,
problem.
Drake just
I thought they had no eyelids.
They don't even have eyes.
Indeed. Either way, we should approach with caution.
Wait, are we
I
approaching
wasn't-
or are we going where we're supposed to go?
We're going where we're
Well.
supposed to go.
Drake looks at home. Do we have to go through them?
Maybe.
I mean, we could try and climb that hill directly from here.
Drake pulls the mask from his belt and then puts it on.
Oh, you don't want to be identified by fans?
Hey, Theo,
Mm-hmm.
these spirits popping up, did it coincide with the sudden stillborn problem?
Oh. I never thought of that.
Well, the news circulated roughly around the same time. According to the news, though, at least as far as you heard, the stillborn problem began earlier, but was identified as like a major, like larger issue affecting the entire region around the same time as the spirits started rising up.
Hmm. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna say anything about the theory for now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Are we there yet?
hold,
Not yet.
just try not to hit them.
I'm sure we'll be able to just go right through them without any props.
I'd rather not try to go through people. Feel bad about that.
Drake will tighten his grip on his sword. Lead the way home. You're the one leading us to this place.
I will be.
Yes.
Well,
I have no idea where I'm going, but let's go.
I'm not going to try and ready an attack or anything, but just be more ready in case something happens, kind of thing. Alert, I would guess I call it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Onward.
I won't be seeing them as a problem. I'll be more keeping an eye out for our destination since we're not 100% sure where it is.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I'll just be looking for large standing stones.
Mm-hmm.
Look, a standing stone.
Is it that one? Is it this one? Is it that one? What
I
about
did
now?
this last time.
What about now? What about now?
Wait, if I put it
Are we there
straight,
yet?
is it now standing?
Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
I was imagining Sarah kind of flipping stones to stand and then asking, "Is it this one?"
So you continue along, led by the cart, trundling along. As you get closer and closer, still heading north, you notice that more and more of these spirits are just kind of standing and milling about, both on the hillsides, on the hilltops.
Is your
They-
farmstead right there?
No, you passed the farm
Oh, I passed. Okay.
a few miles ago. So yeah.
Are they all looking in a very samey direction, or are they all over?
They seem to be all over the place. Some of them are moving, kind of like walking around a hill before stopping at exactly the same point where they were to look around and then walking around the hill again. Some
What
are
do they
just
look like?
standing still. These all appear to be elves.
Elves, huh?
Mm-hmm.
How
mother.
close do we get to one of them during the? Are they keeping their distance?
You get to within. I mean, most of the paths you follow tend to be fairly close to the valleys between hills, where the terrain isn't exactly the roughest. You would get within a couple 100 feet of some of them.
This is kind of odd. Particularly the fact that they're elves.
Oh? Where's
What
that
do you-
at?
Drake will just be kind of watching them with a tense grip on his weapon, just not liking being anywhere near these creatures. But he looks back, he kind of tilts his head slightly towards Midrash. What about them?
Have I come across during my studies about souls and animating that how elven souls are very different from others?
I would definitely think so.
how to phrase it. Well, I can't really put my finger more on a theory yet, but just the mere fact that it's only elves is odd. And it also rings a bell about something.
Is it something that we
Something
should...
Naivara told me.
Drake, you refer to this Naivara.
Yeah, as an old acquaintance. It's not too long since I had a bit of a chat with her. Suffice to say, the region is feeling the effect of this stillborn problem, and souls seem unable to pass on to where they should.
The last thing this land needs is more undead. This makes our mission of the highest priority.
A soul isn't, by that definition, undead.
No, it wouldn't be undead. It would be just miserable.
Holm, if you don't mind steering us near one of them, if you spot one conveniently.
And that is the last thing you want to do. You have no idea how these creatures will react if one of us approaches them.
Not
Then I'll approach them alone.
I will join you.
I will just nod to Midrash and be like, if any are on the path, I'll try and steer us closer to one.
This is foolhardy.
Yeah, because we've not done crazier things than this.
There is doing crazy, and then there is throwing your life purposely into danger without any necessary need.
Look at your hand.
The dragon was necessary.
As are these spirits, unable to move on where they should. It's affecting the region, and there might be an interesting cause behind it. I'll start ritual casting comprehend language.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see if he actually finds one conveniently close.
All right. Well, with Holmes' offer of getting closer if the moment or the opportunity presents itself, you can definitely get within 100 feet of one of these spirits easily enough, even closer if you wish.
I'll jump off the cart at 100 feet and walk over.
Mm-hmm.
I'll join him.
As he jumps off the car, I'll notice after a few feet and just stop.
Okay.
Drake will be resting near the cart on Brutus with Home, just watching with a very cautious glare. I mutter to Home, if I see a giant undead hand rise out of the earth, I'm bolted.
Brave Sir
Why?
Robin.
Is it a friend of yours? Is it your hand?
Let's just say that it's connected to something I'd rather not deal with in any realm.
Drake.
You could just cleanse it with fire.
I think I'll need a bigger fire. Trust me. Drake has a haunted look on his face behind the mask.
We've got Midrash. He can breathe fire.
So, Midrash, you head to one of these
Yes.
spirits.
And I'll walk up it, see if I can
As soon
get
as
its
you
attention.
walk up to it, the spirit turns to look at you, or rather, like, kind of staring right through you. And it asks you in very old Elven dialect. Excuse me, do you know the way to Did?
To Did?
Yes, the Archdruid. We're supposed to meet here. Somewhere.
What are they saying?
What happened to the Archdruid again?
What are they
He
saying?
was sacrificed, right, in the vision?
In your vision?
In my vision, yeah. Well, that was a different one. And nobody really knew what happened to Archdruid. Did he just kind of vanished, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm speaking common to the spirit.
Yeah, but I'm
I
asking
don't
what they
speak,
said because they spoke in Elven.
Is he
but-
is the spirit close enough where Drake could hear? Because he understands Elvish.
If you're
100
sticking
feet?
close to the cart, no.
That's fair
It
enough.
speaks very softly.
They're asking for Archdruid Did.
Never heard of him. Who is it?
Oh, legendary figure involved in the defeat of, well, temporary technical defeat, I suppose, of Ashardalon. He's the one who tore the heart out, basically.
So you could say he had a hand in it.
I'll turn back to the spirit and say, no, I'm sorry, I don't know the way to, or where he even is.
Maybe ask
Where
him
were you
if
supposed to meet him?
Somewhere around here.
maybe ask them if we can use their passing.
There was supposed to be a ring of stones to keep us safe. I do not see them.
Well, we are heading, looking for the standing stones, I believe. But are you aware that you are dead?
Dead? Why would I be dead? I am still needed.
Is
We
your
need to
body needed
perform
or
the
your
ritual.
spirit only?
We need to perform the ritual. Where is Archdruid Did?
It might be with the standing stones. What ritual were you thinking of?
Ritual. Yes, we must perform the ritual. To cast down the dragon.
What are they saying?
We should get to the stones. They will keep us safe.
Well, good luck on that.
Huh?
I'll turn to
Star?
We better talk over by the car.
Alright. Is there anything we can do to help them?
Maybe at our destination.
I'll just follow you to the car. Kind of every now and then, kind of keeping an eye back to see that they're not following. Or
The spirit that you talk to, after you leave, it turns to towards the north and starts walking, but follows like the curvature of the hill, going around the hill.
Once we're out of earshot and back by the cart, he'll say, I believe these are spirits from back when Ashardalon was raging. They seem to be reliving it. And boy, that dialect was old. That is... I don't think I've heard anything similar like... It's probably like 400 at least.
wait, if they are reliving it, it means that they're suffering.
Yes.
Too bad there's no cleric around to banish them back to where they belong.
I don't think that would work. They're stuck. They're trying to return, but they're unable. Forcing the matter wouldn't help much, but we might find a clue at the stunning stones, because that's where they were intending to go. Perhaps it's simply regret keeping them.
I don't know. They didn't seem to be regretting anything. They were just standing there.
Perhaps they are lost souls who lost their lives trying to get to the standing stones in the first place.
Yes, but why would they be rising now?
Well,
Is it
and I point to
because-
the comet.
It might be related.
With the possible resurgence of Mr. Big Bad Red, could be causing waves.
Yes. I guess we'll see once we get there.
Theo.
Mhm.
Would souls come back due to an event if they already passed on? According to what my character would know.
In certain situations, perhaps. If they are sworn to fulfill a duty,
Even-
for example, they
Even
can
if they
return.
already passed on?
Yes, even then.
Okay.
It has definitely happened before.
Yeah, so I won't say anything.
I hate reading this.
What?
It messes with my mind when I try to read it.
What?
Which one?
Did's farewell and the coming of Ashardalon.
Ah.
The style it's been written in that. Anyways, let's move on. Unless there's more.
Alright. So you keep going?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Home. Roll another survival check. Nice. Okay.
Very nice.
You managed to find a nice steady path through the valleys between the hills, kind of like managing to go straight for a fair moment. For you come across a small stream running between the hills and heading out towards the river Desrin, with a fairly narrow bridge which has a hole in it which has been covered with fairly fresh wooden planks, it seems. And on the other side, as you arrive to the bridge, you see a figure translucent and in a red long robe running towards the bridge. And shortly after, you see a figure in black riding from beyond the hill come galloping down, and just before this figure reaches the bridge, the rider swings down with his sword and cuts the figure down.
Is it also
These are spirits, right?
Well, the one running for sure was a spirit.
Did the raider look like a spirit?
Roll a perception check.
Yeah.
Drake, are you using the power of your mask or no?
Yeah, why not? I'll activate the power of the mask. True sight it. Since we're getting...
Sure.
I kind of hold my hand to the mask for a moment and then activate its power and then uncover my eyes to see what I see.
Mm-hmm. All right. Cool. Home. Yeah. Home. You can see that the rider and his horse are slightly translucent, which would indicate that they are spirits as well. Drake, you can see quite clearly that the rider is not entirely on this plane of existence. It exists partly on the ethereal plane as well. You can see kind of overlaid this image of this black rider in a suit of, well, in kind of this like covering cloak. And then on the other side, you can see this rider with this very fine plate armor with these claws which seem to be roughly the size of dragon claws, which you were made very familiar with in one instance. And yeah, you can see his armor like studded with these dragon claws pointing outward from the joints of his armor.
Okay. I will. So he's not entirely on the ethereal plane either. He's kind of here on this plane of existence and on the ethereal. We'll need to be careful approaching that man. Is not entirely a spirit. And I'll describe what I saw through what I'm seeing through the mask.
The rider stops right before the bridge, trampling over the spirit which had been cut down and had fallen onto the ground. The rider then slowly turns around while still looking towards you and starts riding back to whence he came. Is Chris frozen?
Chris, are you frozen? No, he's not.
Or does
Okay.
it just looks like it?
Just, well, your camera is frozen for me at least. But
No,
I mean, we
it's
only
working for me.
have. Well,
He's working fine.
weird. Let's not start worrying about that since we only have like 30 minutes left, so it's not a big bother. Better your thinking phase than 30 minutes of a spinning circle.
Yeah.
Do I
besides,
watch
Thinking
where-
is what I do anyways.
I watch where he goes for a moment just to see where he came from.
He rides back over the hill, kind of towards the northwest.
When I look back to the spirit, how does that appear? Does it look like it's entirely on the ethereal plane?
The one that was cut down? The one that was cut down is completely on the material plane.
Okay. And I look across the bridge. Do I see anything of interest?
Anything of interest? As in, what?
Any kind of anything that would only appear to true sight, like any kind of hidden magical markers of some kind, or something like that?
No.
Okay, I'll keep an eye on the where the rider came from, and then say, are there standing stones across that bridge? No.
No. There's still hills ahead on the other side of the bridge.
I'll watch where the rider rides off to the northwest, you said?
Mm-hmm.
This might get more intense as we get closer, so do keep your heads about you and don't overreact.
Continue north? Or do we follow the rider?
We have to get to our destination.
I may need a tooth from one of you shortly.
What?
I'll explain later. But I'll keep the true sight on anyway, at least up until its duration.
I'm rather attached to my teeth, you know?
Me too.
Me too.
I suppose Hammond can spare one.
Does Ammon not want his teeth?
Well, what's he gonna do? Chew with them?
I mean, it's always better to chew before you eat.
Yeah, but he doesn't eat. Ever.
Well, that explains a lot. That's why he's so not in shape.
Yeah, he's all skin and bones. Not even
Yeah.
skin, just bones.
Poor guy.
Keep an eye out for more of those riders, though. Oh, and
Anorexic skeletons.
make sure you note down if you spot any, like, identifying marks or sigils on them.
That is why I may need some teeth. But either way, let's move on.
What's with you and teeth?
Speaking of identifying marks or anything,
Mhm.
doesn't that one look a little different from the rest of them?
Which one?
The one that the rider cut down?
Certainly. We're going that way anyway, so we can have a closer look.
Tally ho.
Do you cross the
Hello.
bridge
Silver.
or ford across the stream?
Is it safe to cross the bridge? Is it structurally safe, I mean?
It looks pretty structurally safe. The only worry is like the hole in it, but it's been covered with planks, which seem to be long enough that they would manage the weight of the cart and everyone on it.
We'll need to take this slow, one at a time.
Up to you, Holm. You're the driver.
Actually, it's up to the horses.
We don't have horses.
He's got a horse.
Drake looks down at Brutus.
No, that's just bones.
I have a horse, and I show my mastiff.
As a dog.
Don't listen to them, Tiny. You're a steed to
I'll-
me.
I just guide the 2 guard drakes to go across the.
Was the
Bridge.
one cut down on our side of the bridge or the opposite side of the bridge?
The opposite side. Right.
And try and pull up next to the one that was cut down so you can take a look at him.
All right. You managed to cross safely and make it to the other side. Almost like forced to roll over the spirit which was cut down, considering it was cut down just before it arrived at the bridge. You managed to go slightly to the side and avoid it and kind of pause next to it.
How does it look now that it's dead? I don't know how to call it.
A dead
How
spirit.
does a spirit die?
It is just splayed on the ground with this massive gash on its back, which seems to be kind of wisping little traces of the translucent spirit from around the gash.
I would try to, as funny as that is, try to collect it into an empty vial.
Sure.
Does it actually hold inside, or does it go through?
It goes into the vial and dissipates.
Huh. Well, that's
I'd
crap.
like to see if I can lay a hand on the. I'd say dead person, but on the spirit.
The dead person.
The dead spirit. Don't know
Do
how
I
a spirit
instantly
dies.
pass through, or
Your hand passes through, and you feel this sudden jolt from your Kira.
I'd like to follow that jolt.
All right. All right. Cool. Roll a wisdom saving throw.
You actually have you have +4 because you're right next to me.
Well, even
Oh,
better.
right.
All right. You follow the jolt into the depths of knowledge within the Kira, and you find yourself in a vision with three people in these red robes gathered around you. The face of one of them very similar, if not the same, as the one that was cut down at the bridge. And you can hear all of their voices, as well as a voice coming from where you are standing, joining together in this draconic chant. Hailing and praising the glory of Ashardalon.
And that's the entirety of the flash.
Yes, strangely enough.
I'd like to try to improvise a spell,
Okay,
or improvise a modification of a spell.
all right. What would you wish to do?
I'd try to focus this spell, but force the energy directed into the spirit.
Okay.
I see like 3 problems with it, but it might work.
Yeah. Make an Arcana check.
Hmm.
Okay. You try to restore the spirit. Trying to change some of the wording and hand gestures to try and force it to work on a spirit instead of a something corporeal, and you feel this twang in the air as you finish the spell, and it kind of reverberates for a moment in the air around you before it calms down and nothing happens.
Well, it was worth a try. I guess I'm not that proficient yet with meddling with spells on the fly.
What were you
What did you try to do?
Oh, just a little twist on restoring, revitalizing. Did you know that healing wounds is actually considered necromancy?
Yes.
Why on earth were you trying to? Why were you trying to heal the spirit?
Well, it's cut down.
And you didn't think the 1 second that might be dangerous.
Of course it's dangerous, it's magic.
Have you seen me firing my bow?
Altering a spell on the fly in itself is terribly dangerous. But sometimes you gotta take some risks, you know? I didn't get much from this, though, unfortunately. I'd like to look it over, see if I can recognize any identifying marks or anything.
With the spirit lying splayed on the ground, on its stomach, there aren't any real identifying marks. You notice that one of the ethereal bracelets this spirit has on appears to be a coiled long serpent. But that's about it.
Hey, Azar, you got any way of flipping this guy over?
Sorry? Flipping it where?
Flipping it over, so it's on its back.
The sky?
The spirit.
Oh. I will try to cast Mage Hand and use it to move it.
Your mage hand goes right through.
One moment. I have maybe another idea.
Try your unseen servant.
Sure. I will cast Unseen Servant and try to use that to move it.
Again, nothing.
Strange.
Wait. I think I have an idea. Let me just check if I actually have that spell. I do not. So never mind. Never mind. I don't... Wait. I will try to do a minor illusion of a weight on his hand and see if he moves it.
Good idea. Doesn't work.
Well, it was worth a try.
Any other ideas? Something that reaches into the ethereal plane?
I believe that Blink does that, the spell.
I've heard of that spell, but I haven't studied it.
Me neither. I just heard of it. Invisibility kind of does that.
Drake kind of mutters under his breath and then drops down from his horse and then sees, because if a mask extends to him being able to interact with with the ethereal spirits.
Well, I mean,
Excellent
we could bury
idea,
it.
but no. Your hands just go straight through.
Drake rubs his hand on his plate mail, like, ugh, and says, "Well, the mask doesn't allow me to interact with it on a ethereal level."
Well, it was worth a try. If this guy is on some kind of looping event, we could always just wait and look at him next time he's about to be cut down.
I'm not sure he's looping.
Like
Could
I
be.
said, he was not entirely on this plane of existence. He was also part of the ethereal plane, which makes me think he's not as dead as he seems.
This guy or the other one?
The other one.
Ah,
But one second, isn't this a guy kind of not in the ethereal plane? And I point at the guy that is dead in front of us.
Well, that's the strange thing. This, and I point at the spirit, is entirely on the material plane.
So it's an illusion.
No, it's no illusion.
I will kind of shift my hand through it.
Your hand goes straight through it.
Do I feel anything while we're going through it?
You feel a chill going through you, specifically like running up your spine, but you don't actually like feel anything touching your hand.
Huh? I don't know. Don't feel anything.
I might have an idea. Though, if it works, well, if you have any other ideas, let's try those first.
Why do I have a feeling I'm not going to like your idea?
While the others are gathered around the fallen spirit, home, are you, you're sitting on the cart, I assume. Are you looking at them? Alright. Make a perception check in that case. Oh, good.
through a cloud of smoke.
Yeah. You're looking at the others messing around with the spirit while puffing on your pipe. There's this cloud that gathers around your face for a moment. You can't see anything. And when it dissipates enough that you can see, you notice that there is something on the hill to the northeast of you. A large white stag looking down at you. It looks down at you for a moment and then slowly turns its head back towards the north and then turns completely to walk in that direction.
I'll kind of lean over, look at them. How long are we going to be?
Well,
Josh?
unless you guys got any other ideas, this is the last thing I got.
Well, if we wait long enough.
How
No.
about burn it with spiritual fire and be done with it?
That'd be mean.
Does anyone have a holy water?
Drake says, I might.
Why would you
Might or
have
you
holy
do
water?
have?
Also, technically, wouldn't it be unholy water?
Drake just arches an eyebrow. What do you need the holy water for?
Well, it is a spirit, and you're claiming it undead, so if it is undead, the holy water would interact with it.
Home, considering the bickering starting around this fallen spirit, what do you do? It might take a while knowing the party.
Except I deliberately just blow it right in the middle of them all.
Mm-hmm.
Across the spirit.
You deliberately what, sorry?
Blow the smoke cloud
Oh,
right in the middle of you all to get your attention.
I look up at him. What?
We do have a little more important matters than the spirit.
Ah, yes, you're right, you're right. Well, in that case, I'll do the thing I had in mind.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, I want to
Nom
see if
nom
I
nom
can...
nom nom.
You try and nom the spirit. Nothing happens.
He manages to nom a beetle that died there.
Didn't work, huh? Oh well. Let's get going.
Mysteries.
By the way, what happens when I move the sand below? Or the dirt below?
The dirt moves?
No, but does the corpse also move? Or does it go through it?
No. It just stays where it is.
Okay. So,
Seems like if you were to dig a hole, it might even just hover in place.
Draco jump on top
On
of
the way
this.
back,
Don't give him ideas.
Draco
So
jump
you-
on top of the look down to Ethar. Are you coming, you little pissant?
I will just look at him for a moment and say, I'm coming, as I will cast minor illusion on his shield, I believe it is, of a man peeing, just a icon of a man peeing, and then I will just climb on board.
Great. You mount back up, and home you... Do you follow the stag, or do you head straight north?
I'll follow the stag.
All right.
I need decorate object.
You climb the hill, where the stag was, and crest over the top to see right beyond the hill this dip in the hills, a larger valley, in the middle of which stands a small ruined town, completely encircled by these massive stones. And about 100 feet further away from those stones is a second circle of stones, about half the size. In the middle of the ruined town, you see a pile of ash and some movement of lightly armored and very lightly armed people, as well as the shining figure of a sitting figure in full plate armor.
Are these spirits?
They are definitely not translucent. In fact, you don't see any spirits immediately surrounding this town.
And do any of the people present look like they're on the ethereal plane for the mask?
I'm not sure what the effective range of your mask is at the moment, but they definitely
I
don't.
believe true sight is like 120 normally.
Mm-hmm. This would be further away, much further away, but yeah, they definitely don't seem to be on the ethereal plane as far as you can tell.
I think we found the stones, guys.
Notably, home, you don't
people.
see a stag walking in that direction, although you have clear sightline of everything in this valley.
But I no longer see the stag in that direction.
Nope. As you sit there for a moment cresting the hill, you notice in the distance that the seated figure stands up and turns to look directly at you. The sun seeming to shine directly on her for a moment. And this is where we shall end the session for tonight.
Whew.
I know who it is.
Hola.
Who is it? Is it Quilana?
No, it's that woman that was in the inn.
Tully?
Yeah, probably.
That one.
Or it could be Sarum with a gender switching belt.
Why not both?
Yeah, why not both?
Sarum with a belt of giant strength and gender switching?
It's Quilena when she was very young.
No, she'd be locked up in a monastery somewhere.
Yeah. I do wonder what monastery. We should visit her. Change her future.
Go give her ideas that illusion magic is the way to go.
Yep.
No, this is how she becomes obsessed with making gnomes. She meets SR.
Oh god.
Tarzan daddy.
The love story of a century. Downtime days have been updated.
So let's now take the whole downtime days right here. Right before we enter the place.
You get a glorious... actually, that was about...
I can tell you how much I'm missing.
How much are you missing?
I'm missing 2,960.
About 4,000 XP for me.
Well, for what level though?
7.
Oh, okay. How
You leveled
the
up
hell
as well?
did I bypass you?
Because I missed a couple sessions.
Oh, okay. Because I remember that I was just like behind you.
And there was also a couple moments where we got XP split differently.
Where?
Yep.
Christ. You get a glorious 120 XP for the session.
Theo, I won't level this way.
Yeah,
Just saying.
well,
We know.
eventually, when you keep grinding it out.
20 sessions from now, I will level.
Is this what killing boars is like?
Just gotta whittle
I
them
believe
down.
this is how it goes.
Good. Well, you guys can say goodbye to the stream now.
Goodbye
Bye-bye,
to the
stream.
Bye
Bye, stream.
Stream.
We miss you. We love you.
We
Don't
don't.
cross the streams.
Watch our votes. Votes.
Watch out for that tree.
What's the amazing Jurassic Park one shot? Well, till next week with the stream.